Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto declares war on Konoha. Before I start, please support for more amazing content, and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by Dark Fox 2 and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Shouting, QB, thoughts, speech. A storm bellowed outside, thundering relentlessly, as a dark figure knelt in the office of the Hokage. The figure was donned in a kabuki mask with a fox face and was dressed in traditional ANBU clothes. However, his entire wardrobe was drenched in blood. Have you completed what needed to be done, Fox? Mission success, Hokage-sama. There was a complication in the security info we were given about the daimyo's mansion, so I needed to improvise. The result was me being spotted and identified, but the original objective is complete. Iwa's daimyo and his family have been all murdered. A cold voice rang, a voice filled with void, hollowness, and a bit of disappointment. Once again it seems he was not given a challenge, although I wonder how many he killed getting to the daimyo, thought the aged third Hokage. How many casualties did you inflict on enemy forces? The endgame was inevitable. All the daimyo's guards needed to be neutralized. If Iwa's daimyo had security like our daimyo Naruto. The old war veteran stroked his beard, as he peered at the young man no boy before him, who, in one night, was now responsible for a few hundred families' losses. Was I wrong all those years ago? No, he couldn't think like that. Not now, not after everything that has already been done. They were going to kill him or possibly turn him into a drone like Danzo's route had I not come up with the idea. It sounded so good back then. Flashback. The demon must be killed, Sarutobi. The council room was filled with its members after the recent defeat of the Kyuubi no Kitsune. He is not a demon, you fool. He is just the container. Do you trust the Yondaime so little and his seal in his son? Sarutobi glared at the council, daring one to answer him. The room quieted down, but then the pristine clans of Konoha appeared in the council room. As much as we want to believe in Yondaime Hokage-sama, the child, for the sake of the village, must die. Hayashi Hyuga spoke coldly and without emotion, yet on the inside he boiled in anger. Like everyone in the room, Hayashi lost someone to the Kyuubi, specifically his wife, Toki. The pain of loss flooded the room and Sarutobi knew they needed blood. Wait, I wish to voice my thoughts. The council forwarded their gaze to the door where a crippled man stood, with bandages on one of his eyes. The seemingly weak old man had an air of mischief and power to him that made him dangerous. Danzo, to what do we owe the pleasure? Sarutobi groaned on the inside. He knew his rival and what's now going to occur. Councilman, I vote to have the child turned into a weapon for Konoha. Why waste such a commodity as a Jinchuriki when we can use it to establish dominance? Let me train him, and by the time he is 13, he will be stronger than Hokage-sama himself, but more importantly, he will be under Konoha's complete control. Yes, that's good. IWA has 2 Jinchuriki. We need him. I Fugaku Uchiha vote for the child to be turned into a weapon. Slowly, one by one, everyone, even Sarutobi's old teammates, agreed, sealing this boy's fate. Well, Hokage-sama, what is your answer? Danzo smirked as he sealed the deal on Konoha's newest weapon, watching as Sarutobi cringed. If only Jiraiya was here, he could have taken him away. I have no choice, but maybe I can put this in my favor. Do what you will. However, I will oversee Naruto's training. You will report to me what you do to him for training. Furthermore, he will not begin his training until age 4. I will preserve his humanity in that time. Danzo's smirk vanished as it was replaced by a frown. A minor setback, but I'm sure I can put my mark on this boy. The council departed after agreeing to the terms, and Sarutobi was left alone. He left the room and went to his office where a crib lay, and in it the future Shinigami of Konoha. Sarutobi gazed down at the small babe as the infant gazed back in wonder and curiosity. Naruto raised his hand to grab Sarutobi's finger, his small hand wrapping around the old killer's wrinkled ones. Your life will be full of the world's dangers, but at least you will be strong enough to face them. I will do my best, Naruto Namikaze, but I hope you are ready. End flashback. Yes, that day still plagues me. I relented so easily because of the Uchihas and the Hyugas. At least he had a childhood while it lasted. The 4 years I spent with him may have saved his humanity, but what's left of it is in the darkness. He only reveals himself to me, so it's my responsibility to help salvage what's left, and I will do so for the rest of my life. It's the least I can do. The Hokage broke his musings and reverted his full attention onto his most trusted ANBU. Fox, can you please take off your mask? It was such a long time since Sarutobi last saw Naruto's face, and the conversation about to begin as well deemed the certain intimacy appropriate. The 5 feet 6 inches preteen gave a quick nod and unclasped his face mask, revealing 3 whisker-like marks on his cheeks as well as cerulean eyes. His face was perfectly sculpted, showing no baby fat, his cheeks angular. Flowing blonde hair with red streaks fell in his eyes as the 11-year-old killer gazed at his leader. What most struck Sarutobi, though, were not the telltale signs of fangs protruding from his mouth nor the feral look the scar-like whisker marks made, but it was his eyes so hardened, frozen in a sheet of ice. A look of void indifference marring his gaze. However, if one were to look very close, signs of anger and hate were hidden as well in them. It seems I was right after all. Danzo and the council did not eradicate all the humanity in him. There is still hope. Naruto, how are you? I realize this has been a relatively easy mission considering the ones you have done in the past, but is there anything you wish to voice? I do not understand why I wouldn't be alright. It was a mission, nothing more. Any casualties or collateral damage were just obstacles in the way of the objective. Sarutobi looked downcast. However, I would actually wish to know what will become of our relationship with IWA. We were already on very unfavorable terms with them, if they verify who was responsible for their daimyo's death, especially since I was spotted. Could it not start the next Ninja World War? Yes, it will, and that is the objective, Naruto. May I be so daring as to ask why? Our war with IWA is a long time in the making. Since Yondaime left their forces in ruins, the Tsuchikage, Aoshi Abunaga, has built his forces to exact revenge. He has even gone so far as to train his daughter personally for most of her life to use the Abunaga clan's famous bloodline, Dotonrai, to its fullest. I refuse to be sneak attacked. This way, Konoha chooses when the war will start, and that will be our advantage. I see, then will that be all, Hokage-sama? No, Naruto, wait. Sarutobi reaches into his drawer and pulls out a form. Quickly filling it out, he hands it to Naruto. Here, Naruto, with this you will join the ranks of ANBU captains starting today. This mission was the catalyst to possibly the next world war, but it was also a test. Congratulations. Naruto's only reaction was a deep bow before accepting the form. Thank you, Hokage-sama. I will not fail. I am counting on you, Naruto. The next few years are going to be tough and many will die. I know this is a lot to ask for, but I also want you to do one more thing for me. Anything you wish, Hokage-sama. Sarutobi handed a scroll to Naruto with the Namake's crest. Naruto widened his eyes. He knew what would be asked of him. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, I entrust you to master the Rasengan and Hiraishin fully and surpass your father. Jiraiya will be here soon, and he will help you on the two jutsus. Our war effort needs you, not only as the ANBU, Fox, and Konoha's Shinigami, but also as the Yellow Flash. It shall be done, Hokage-sama. Naruto took the scroll and exited the office via Shunshin. Sarutobi continued to stare at the area Naruto just inhabited deep in thought. He is already at Kakashi's level without Kyuubi's power, which he can access to four tails, and now I've given him this. If he does master those two jutsu, he will be far past my level, or any level in this village for that matter. And he is only 11. Such power and potential, but at such a cost. Was it really worth it? Kyuubi, thoughts, speech. Two figures ran as fast as they could toward the IWA/Konoha border. Their objective was complete, to find and steal the forbidden scroll of Konohagakure. They applauded their own foolproof plan. Killing and then henging into the local Chunin teachers in Konoha Ninja Academy proved to be easier than expected. Expecting to face problems, the duo's plan was surprisingly efficient as the scheme immediately bore fruit. The two Nins soon coaxed a naive academy student to steal the scroll, convincing the ninja in training that it was a drill. The rest was simple as they knocked the academy student out and took the scroll when he presented it to them. As the two jounins made a beeline toward the border, they began to reminisce on the last 2 years since the beginning of the great IWA/Konoha war. After their Tsuchikage, Aoshi Abunaga, verified it was indeed Konoha, specifically Konoha's Shinigami, Namikaze Naruto, who was responsible for their daimyo's murder. War was quickly declared. Allies of the two nations as well as neutral nations made it clear they would not get involved. Konoha and IWA were fighting alone, making the war then seem more like a grudge match between the two nations. Spurned by the call of blood from the public, Abunaga made the first move as he formally declared war on Konoha, 3 days after the daimyo's murder, and attacked a Konoha outpost near the border, killing everyone there. Konoha seemed much too ready, however, for an attack, for their retaliation afterwards was swift and crippling as they blew up a shipping yard full of precious metals IWA needed to make kunai and shuriken. The Konoha dogs didn't stop there though, as they initiated battalion after battalion of shinobi to match Iwa's massive numbers. Though Konoha still had the numerical disadvantage, the amount of shinobi amassed in such a short time surprised them. The Konoha leaders proved to be strong and very intelligent as well, in IWA, for the better part of the first 6 months of war, had to constantly be on the defensive, only surviving Konoha's strength because of their numbers. Quickly realizing what could be another third Ninja World War massacre scenario, Abunaga struck back hard when he introduced new formations and ninja squads specific for targeting one person at a time. Though the thought seemed useless in an all-out war environment, the teams did well as they guaranteed the elimination of any target. Key leaders in the Konoha force were targeted and eliminated in the hopes to stir confusion and disorganization in the Konoha troops. The strategy worked, and though IWA faced losses due to the tactic, the pros definitely outweighed the cons as IWA gained the upper hand in the war. With many Konoha commanders being assassinated by Iwa's cloak and dagger tactics, the Hokage, Sarutobi, opted to send his ANBU to deal with the assassination squads. Suddenly the task of eliminating the Konoha commanders became much harder, and just like that, the scale was tipped in Konoha's favor. In response to the counter-strike for his strategies, Abunaga, after waiting for a year into the war, finally unleashed Iwa's gem, the Tsuchikage's daughter herself. Tsuchikage-sama only one daughter, Yukina-sama, however, and she was at the prime of her fighting capabilities. The mere 15-year-old girl already was known as Iwa's princess, so when IWA forces found out she would be joining the war effort, their morale skyrocketed. The constant back and forth of advantages and disadvantages in both nations seemed like a proverbial tug-of-war, and quickly made apparent the war of attrition bound to happen, if things continued this way. Sarutobi had enough of it though, as he finally sent his elites to try and end the war completely. It was at that point IWA met their greatest fears since the Yondaime Hokage. A righteous fear indeed, for when the name of Iwa's fear was spoken, a shiver always ran down every nin's spine. He was the killing machine, a man worthy of his 2 titles known worldwide, the infamous Konoha's Shinigami, and just recently, the second Flash of Konoha, a man who in just the first few days of battle with IWA forces managed to destroy half their army, a man known by IWA as Death itself, Naruto Namikaze. The 2 nins jumped from another branch and looked at each other, shivering at the image in their heads. The blonde hair very similar to that of Iwa's late archenemy, the cold icy eyes, the feral appearance, all but aggrandized in his apparel of long black A&BU style pants, a mesh shirt, and a long, high-collar black cloak with a big, blood-red Uzumaki symbol on the back of the cloak right over an orange-red nine-tailed fax. He also carried a sword. A katana cursed black in color to the very blade. It was a perfect weapon for a man who shed so much blood. Yes, they knew the Namikaze heir very well, being the very few survivors of his first crusades, when he was still a little green to the use of his miserable father's jutsu. The 2 IWA ninjas running towards the border quickened their pace subconsciously. That demon left them stabbed and bleeding with only 2 other survivors under a pile of corpses that only 4 hours ago had been their fellow comrades, compatriots, allies, friends. They limped back to their camp only to find it in flames. That's when the 2 nins realized the stories of what Iwa's top brass said about the blonde Jinchuriki were true. Namikaze killed ruthlessly. He was a machine programmed to inflict death on whatever happened to be in his warpath. He arrived as soon as Sarutobi ordered him to. Even though he came with Konoha's elite, featuring such names as Snake Mistress, Anko Mitarashi, Sharingan Kakashi Hataki, Genjutsu Mistress Kurinai Yuhi, one of the 12 ninja guardians, Asuma Sarutobi, and the green beast of Konoha, Meito Gai. They only contributed a very small part in Iwa's defeat that day and the days after it. For even with these power play shinobi at his command, the blonde-haired demon's first battle and more after it in the war was marked as him alone against the IWA forces. The look he gave to what seemed like a sea of eyes shaded by IWA headbands, it was indescribable. How? Why? How can he stand without flinching? Why does his eyes already seem dead? These were the questions they, as well as their friends, asked to themselves as Naruto started to walk towards them, sporting an enigmatic look. The walk was accompanied with the darkening of the clouds, as if the heavens were trying to warn the IWA means of the inevitable. Naruto's walk turned quickly into a run, and with it a strange but familiar kunai was revealed in his hand. The kunai, that both surprised and terrified the now quivering army. 1 down, 6 down, 10, 20, 100. The army was being picked off, and the supposed battle turned into pandemonium and chaos. They were 2 of the 4 survivors of the Bloodfest, but it was only possible because they hid their chakra signatures and he couldn't smell them lying underneath corpses. Gruesome smell covering their scent. Through a small orifice in the pile of bodies, the 4 survivors glimpsed Naruto's face. A face showing the first emotion from the boy the whole battle, as the boy thought he was alone. The IWA ninjas gazed at blonde Maelstrom's eyes, and found a myriad of emotions. More noticeable than most though, the hiding nin saw the dominant look the blonde was giving as he stared down the bloody battlefield. It looked like the Namikaze boy wanted to prove something. But to whom? And why did he look sad as well? What is this? The nins had no time though to verify what they just saw, because just like that, when they looked up again to look at Konoha's Shinigami, he was gone, disappearing like a specter in the night. The 4 nins, including the 2 scroll stealers, climbed out of the body pile looking at the battleground, and the thoughts of Naruto's expressions disappeared, forgotten in the thunder, rain, and tears. Word spread fast and rumors blanketed the IWA army of the new threat. From then on, it seemed Namikaze's battles were always accompanied with rain, an omen hidden in the downpour, never to be discovered in the fierceness of the rain. It was like God himself was trying to wash away the torrents of blood constantly blanketing his precious earth. With seemingly no emotion, the last thing people would see was his eyes. A cold, apathetic, dead look. The eyes of a man already dead. If Naruto's enemies looked closer though, they would have seen his conflicted spirit like the first 4 survivors did. At first, many IWA commanders thought all Naruto could do was the Harassation and work to repress it, coding potential battlegrounds with seals straight from the RD of IWA to negate the teleportation abilities of the dreaded jutsu. The seals worked, but the result was something no one in IWA expected. Faced with having to use other skills than the Harassation, Naruto unleashed his arsenal. Though heavily outnumbered, the number balance only helped Naruto use his more devastating jutsu, ripping ninjas apart until there was no one left. If it wasn't for Yukina-sama's arrival soon after the one-sided battles, IWA would have lost everything to just a teenager. Luckily, Iwa's princess pulled through and stalemated the blonde monster in a one-on-one battle. Just as the 2 ninjas started thinking about their princess's battles with the Namikaze, a strong wind blew, knocking the IWA nins off a tree branch and onto the ground. They slowly got back up, checking the forbidden scroll only to see it was gone. Are you looking for this? A dark voice said directly behind them. Who the fuck are you? One of the IWA Nin shouted, turning around only to freeze in pure unbridled fear as he recognized the dark cloak, swaying in the wind. Who is it? Suzaku? One the ninjas began, only to be silenced once he turned around himself, and saw the signature blonde hair. The IWA Nin now recognized as Suzaku started to inch forwards, constantly staring wide-eyed at their attacker. Tsuryu, listen, run far away, I'll hold him off as long as possible, but you have to run as fast as you can. What? No, never. I will never leave, not after everything we've done. Shut up and listen. I'm older and wiser, we don't have a ghost of a chance, just go. Tsuryu looked down at the ground, making his hand into a fist before breaking in the opposite direction. Suzaku turned to his death, only to find his executioner absent. A shriek was heard behind him and he stopped and closed his eyes, completely scared of what he would see if he turned around and opened them. Slowly, he proceeded to look in the direction of the shriek to see his partner and friend skewered on a pitch-black sword, the sword and body dripping blood. Suzaku turned to run, but bit back a scream when a second later 2 shuriken embedded themselves into his Achilles' heels, making him fall like a sack of bricks. You will not be going anywhere, Naruto chided as he walked slowly toward the shivering ninja. Why did you kill him? And why don't you just kill me? Suzaku pleaded, wanting the nightmare to end. Ichenen was Naruto's only reply as he disappeared and reappeared next to Suzaku. Giving him a chop to the neck, Suzaku was knocked out, and Naruto picked him up and began his trek back to the village, forbidden scroll in hand, an IWA Nin on the other. Foolish IWA Nin, I didn't kill you because you didn't run away. Your fate though does not favor you, as Ibiki has longed for another POW. Naruto knew this Suzaku could not hear, but he didn't care. He quickened his pace back to Konoha as thunderclouds began to gather. Naruto had just made it back to Konoha when a terrible storm began. Now drenched in front of the village gates, he pondered on why such an occurrence always happens in battles he participates in. HNN, what an unproductive thought process, Naruto thought as he walked in the now deserted main street of the village, the rain still pouring. Naruto was broken out of his thoughts when he felt a stirring in his prisoner, signifying the IWA Nin was awakening. Yes, I still have to interrogate this fool. The blonde ANBU gave a ghost of a smirk. Interrogation proved to be one of his favorite pastimes, as Naruto always told Ibiki-san to allow him to participate in the tortures. Naruto always felt at peace after a torture. Whether it was sick enjoyment like Mitarashi-san or something else, he didn't know. Perhaps it was because when you're interrogating someone, you can do whatever you want to the prisoner short of killing him. All the anger and hate inside you can be released in what Konoha would dub as a productive way. Growing up, most civilians hated him for being the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi Kitsune, and most ninjas regarded him as a useful tool meant for suicide missions until death. Only a very select few helped and cared for him, with only 2 of those people living in Konoha, Sandame-sama and Kakashi-senpai. Maybe it was because of his father or because they pitied him, but in the end, the care given to him by those men helped save his humanity to an extent. Because of them he could feel. He always will feel grateful for their kindness, but a small part of him hated them for it. If only he were a drone, he sometimes mused. Maybe he could have slept better at nights. Sarutobi-sama knew many things about Naruto, but what he didn't know was that Danzo talked to him about joining NA. Naruto refused, of course, because he understood what such a program actually did. The result was Danzo threatening Naruto with a very private secret. In exchange for his silence of NA, as well as an oath to become a living weapon of Konoha, Danzo would not reveal Naruto's most guarded secret. The secret of his hatred. His undying loathing for the miserable village he called a home. Everyone in this god-forsaken village has always treated him either as a monster or a weapon. Naruto may have never been beaten before by the villagers, but that was because by the time he was 6, he could already kill genin squads easily. No, he was still ostracized and hated through any other means, and because he could feel, it was that much worse. Sarutobi-sama, too focused on training him, didn't notice anything, and Naruto was left to wallow in confusion, sadness, and hate. An abused tiger forced to tame itself to please his abusers. How sickening. It didn't matter though, if Sarutobi-sama ever found out. Even though Naruto doesn't care what he thinks, the old Kage would have the blonde powerhouse watched at all times, and maybe even have his powers restricted. I have gone too far to fail now. If the IWA/Konoha war ends with my skills as the catalyst for a Konoha victory, I can finally break my bonds with this place and escape in the celebrations. Escape just like Itachi-kun. Naruto's thoughts changed to his favorite mentor. A man, very much like Naruto himself, forced to push all limits in his clan and village and forced into killing his heart. Itachi proved his mental and physical superiority over all before he left as a nuke-nin. Many shinobi now comment on how the blonde Jinchuriki's a much better shinobi than Itachi ever was. But Naruto knows the truth. His senpai was stronger than him, if not physically, then mentally for sure for what he did. He is a man worthy of respect. Soon, yes soon I will be free Itachi, just like you, then and only then maybe I can reach my true goal. Naruto-sama, Naruto-sama. Naruto looked up to see one of his squad members in ANBU kneeling in front of him. Report bore. Naruto spoke crisply, his musings and forbidden fantasies soon disappearing in thin air as he returned to his cold, void self. His eyes icing before his subordinates' eyes, the boar Anbu taking a subconscious step back. Sir, Hokage-sama wishes your presence immediately. The Anbu saluted. Sir, allow me to take your prisoner from your hands. A frown appeared on Naruto's face. I have no choice. Consider yourself fortunate, fool. Naruto handed the dazed prisoner to the Anbu, never taking his eyes off what could have been his release. The third Hokage sat in a lazy position, having been working in the same spot for 4 hours. During peace, paperwork was grueling enough, but war seems to have amplified it. He quickly stiffened only to relax once again when a shadow from the corner of the room moved to the front of his desk before forming the shape of a human. Dark void, emptiness gave way to golden blonde hair with red highlights, and blue cerulean eyes. The Sandaime shivered as he stared at those eyes. It was as if the void and cold never left the room. You summoned me, Hokage-sama? Naruto started before dropping to one knee. Yes, Naruto. I must say you are getting better at stealth. You seem to have located my presence anyway, so the skill was mute, Naruto replied, his eyes never leaving the Sandaime's own. You forget who you are talking to, Naruto-kun. I may not be physically on par with you, but my experience makes up for that handicap tenfold, and I think I can sense a chakra emission as monstrous as yours even with your perfect chakra control, the Kage replied back as he leaned back on his chair enjoying this banter with his student. He rarely spoke to the warlord like shinobi before him, so having such conversations was something to treasure. Looking at the time, however, Sarutobi found he was running late and needed to cut straight to the point. Okay, Naruto, I know you detest these tests, but I need you to take the mental health examination. I know it's cumbersome, but it must be done. Please understand, I mean the last checkup you had was 6 months ago, and since then you have been on many missions. The count is 57 S-ranked missions and 15 A-ranked missions, Hokage-sama. Naruto almost sounded robotic as he listed his mission statistics. I see, that only proves my point that you need to get checked up. Naruto sighed. He truly hated these mental health checkups. He would always have to lie to the proctor. It couldn't be helped though. I understand, Hokage-sama. When is my appointment? You are scheduled with Inoichi Yamanaka tomorrow at 6 o'clock in the interrogation halls. Hi, Hokage-sama, is that all? Naruto asked as he started to rise from his kneeling position. Yes, Naruto-kun, it is. You may go, the Hokage said as the aged man returned his focus on his paperwork. Naruto quickly faded away into nothing, but not before Sarutobi sneaking one last look at Naruto in silence, contemplating something, before sighing and moving on to his work. Hello, Namikaze Naruto, my name is Yamanaka Inoichi. I'm sure you know me as the clan head of the Yamanaka clan, but today I'll be your examiner. Hi Yamanaka-san, you may begin the test now if you wish. Well, let's start with reviewing your records. I know you've had these checkups before, but I need to know everything about you to diagnose you. That's acceptable. Inoichi rummaged through his pockets until he found a small booklet. Here it is, Inoichi started. Namikaze Naruto, age 13, status, active, rank, ANBU captain, taijutsu, Goken, as made famous by Mado Gai, ninjutsu, a strong affinity for katan and an almost absolute control of wind, Rasengan mastery in both elemental manipulation and the original, the Hiraishin Jutsu, mastery over Kage Bunshin, including Bunshin Daibunka etc., weak affinities in Suiton, Doton, and Rashin, Genjutsu. Because of being a Jinchuriki, all Genjutsu will be ineffective because the Bijou can disturb the Jinchuriki's chakra while in a Genjutsu, effectively breaking it. Kenjutsu, hummingbird style, supersonic speed attacks, ceiling, extensive knowledge on par with Hataki Kakashi. Special attributes. Being a Jinchuriki, Namikaze can access 4 tails from the Kyuubi as well as use regeneration and an advancement of senses. Bingo book ranking, S rank. War record, known as the Shinigami of Konoha as well as Konoha's second flash. Made famous by the massacring of over 2,000 men in the Battle of Suinai. Notorious for infiltration of Iwa's daimyos and Kage's residences as well as the effective assassination of the daimyo. Speciality, assassination, frontal assault. Missions taken, 451 S rank, 129 A rank, 52 B rank. Inoichi scanned the specs on Naruto, reading everything he could on his patient. It was not every day you can learn a little bit about the Shinigami of Konoha. The fact how the Namikaze always seems to disappear after missions as well increases his mystery. Okay Naruto, what these specs tell me is you are a perfect shinobi. Because of this, the mental health examination is vital for you because if you were to snap suddenly it would be very hard to control the situation. I see, so you believe I will follow Itachi-senpai's footsteps one day? Naruto asked, curious about what Inoichi's answer will be. Quite frankly, yes I do, Naruto. You by far have the most decorated mission list I have ever seen. Please take this seriously for it will be of utmost importance for me to analyze if you are fit for duty. Go on Yamanaka-san. Naruto smirked. Another examination, another lie. So Inoichi, how is his condition in terms of battle readiness? He is fine, Hokage-sama. He has a passion and loyalty for Konoha unlike anything else. I dare say I believe you were right about him, Hokage-sama. Yes, he is the gem that will lead us to victory in this war, said the Hokage. Outside Sarutobi's office a shadow hid, and if you peering at it long enough you could have seen the outline of a growing smirk. Perfect. Naruto stood in a stiff stance in front of the gates of Konoha as he stared forward, his ANBU team in front of him. Listen carefully, ladies and gentlemen, our mission will be of the utmost importance. You have all heard about the Kunoichi and IWA dubbed as Iwa's princess, have you not? All of them nodded their heads. That girl has continued to stop our advances along with her father, the Tsuchikage. Every time I go into open battle she is there to thwart me, and so far she has done a good job, not only in keeping up with me, but also as the heir of the Dotamria bloodline, and a spectacular general of IWA, even halting Konoha's forces in southern IWA, fully pushing us back. I think all of you now realize what our mission is, right? Naruto's second-in-command, Fujito Angatsu, quickly voiced his thoughts. We are to assassinate the daughter of the Tsuchikage, right, Taicho? Most correct, Boar. Yes, our mission is to target the princess of IWA and kill her, possibly capture her if the situation presents itself. She is a vital piece in the war on Iwa's side, and if she were to be removed, Iwa's power as well as morale would be greatly weakened. All his subordinates nodded in understanding. Naruto kept his passive, emotionless face in front of his team, but on the inside he was feeling a foreign feeling, a feeling he rarely ever experiences before. Finally, I can finally defeat you, you stupid girl. You have proved to be a worthy opponent, but it is time you perish, and this time, I will make sure your father doesn't interfere. With a quick hand gesture, all 5 figures disappeared in blurs, ready to complete what possibly could be the most important mission to date, but the ANBU team, Naruto in particular, will soon realize this mission will be the catalyst of something so much more. Clouds gathered around Konoha and the surrounding area. The downpour would start soon. The sun rose above the proud nation of IWA. The dawn soon consumed what was left of the darkness of the night as light shone through every window of every house, waking the population up for another day. The marketplaces quickly grew busy as many civilians prepared for another morning. Iwa's ANBU squads watched the slowly accumulating crowds with apathy, eyes peeled for anything suspicious. They, as well as almost all the ninja population, were up hours ago patrolling for any attack. There had been times earlier in the war when Konoha infiltrated IWA through the civilian population, so that Tsuchikage ordered these patrols done every morning, afternoon, and evening to make sure all IWA personnel are just that, IWA personnel. Scouting was a tedious job, but this was war, and there has to be sacrifice. An ANBU rookie snorted as his eyes scouted the bazaar. Why must we do this every day? I mean, don't we have the chakra identification system for this? The rookie was met with silence until the captain addressed him. If by the chakra identification system you mean the system used to detect any chakra in the village and judge if it's hostile, then yes, we do use that as well. But Tsuchikage-sama wants to do personal scouting to ensure the safety of the village. The captain replied before looking toward the crowds. This is just such a waste of human resources though, don't you agree? Please don't get me wrong, I respect Tsuchikage-sama very much. But shouldn't we, the elite, be out there right now making sure the bastard Konoha forces are dead? The rookie was suddenly slammed in the wall behind him. His startled eyes showed fear as the captain pierced him with his hawk-like pupils. I will only say this once, rookie, and after this day if I ever hear you question protocol I'll kill you myself, understood? The rookie nodded quickly. A few months after the war started, IWA was infiltrated. It was Hatake Kakashi who did it. He stole a file on our defensive strategies, and by the time we could send messenger birds to warn our armies, our numerical advantage was already cut. One man became responsible for the deaths of hundreds. Espionage may be not as flashy as open combat, but its repercussions is just as devastating. The way I see things, Hatake Kakashi's kill count in this war is probably up there with that bastard Namikaze. All 4 ANBU winced at the name, and one even shivered. Sir, you can't be serious. Konoha's Shinigami is just that, a Shinigami. He has killed thousands in this war. Nobody comes close to his death count. The captain sighed. Don't be a fool, rookie, you have much to learn about war. Namikaze may have been responsible for literally killing our men, but in reality the men were already dead before they faced him. The rookie's as well as everyone else's eyes widened slightly. The reason is because Hatake's information concerning our army's defensive points helped the second flash decimate our forces with ease. Do you understand? If Namikaze didn't know how our men fought beforehand, we could have maybe injured or killed him, or at the very least not have suffered so many losses. The captain let go of the rookie's shoulders and turned his back to him. Even this very war was started because of weak security. It was Konoha's Shinigami who murdered our daimyo, was it not? Because of that, Tsuchikage-sama had no choice but to declare war. Suddenly the captain stopped and checked his communication device. I must report to the Tsuchikage. All of you continue with the patrol until I return. Just before the captain left though, he turned to the rookie again, staring through the rookie's fox mask, straight into his eyes. Fox, ponder this while patrolling. When Hatake Kakashi infiltrated us those couple years ago, he stole a document that proved to help wipe out over 400 IWA ninja in a single battle. If that kind of man could inflict so much damage, could you even begin to comprehend the magnitude of danger IWA would be in if Naruto Namikaze infiltrated us? The captain left before he received an answer, but if he had, he would have noticed the terrified eyes of 3 members ANBU squad as they all imagined the scenario, as well as the predatory look of the other. ANBU Captain Dragon reporting on the situation of city patrols, sir. Yes, thank you, Dragon, please continue. A kind yet decisive voice said. Dragon eyed the Tsuchikage with a mixture of respect and admiration. The Tsuchikage of IWA, a man who as a jounin in the Third Shinobi War, stood alone against Minato Namikaze and fought the Yellow Flash, giving his fellow IWA nin enough time to retreat. Though in the end the future Yandame of Konoha defeated him, the Yellow Flash spared Aoshi. Nobody could get Aoshi to explain why he was spared, but the only thing he did say though was that he would get stronger and be the Tsuchikage. Dragon, yes of course, Tsuchikage-sama, the report responded Dragon, broken from his thoughts. All sectors seem to be clear, sir. 5 ANBU squads have been scouring IWA for any unidentified individuals, and all teams, including mine, report on nothing unusual. The Tsuchikage visibly relaxed, if only by a little bit. Good. Anything else, Dragon? Well, sir, there seems to be a lot of questions coming from the rookies as well as greenhorn population of our ninja as of late. They don't see the importance of these patrols. I fear this will cause a lax in security, sir. The Tsuchikage adopted a thoughtful expression before smiling. I see, Dragon, then if that's the case I guess I need to have a talk with the ninja staff to explain the importance of what they do. I may be strong and powerful now, but what will the village do when I'm gone? I cannot allow our next generation to adopt a lazy attitude to something so important. Oh, I don't think that would be a problem, Tsuchikage-sama, the ANBU said smiling. And why is that? Care to enlighten me, Dragon? The Kage responded, curious of his subordinate's answer. I believe when you do pass the torch to the next generation, your daughter will beat your teachings on them until they react accordingly. The Kage chuckled. Yes, his daughter, the princess of IWA as some like to call her. Her prowess in battle had many times helped IWA from Konoha, and she, as well as himself, were the only people in IWA who could say they faced off against the Shinigami of Konoha and lived afterwards. My, you are right, Dragon, but one voice, although a strong voice, isn't enough for me to feel safe about the future of IWA. You are most correct, sir, and I hope your speech can change their thoughts. Thank you, Dragon, you are dismissed. The ANBU members shined from the room, and the Tsuchikage stared at the ceiling with a worried look on his face. I just hope my men don't learn the hard way of why all this is important. I sense today to be off somehow. As soon as the ANBU captain left to go see the Tsuchikage, all the squad members shivered at the captain's last statement. Man, I never thought of it that way. What if Konoha's second flash infiltrated us? A monkey-masked ANBU asked as the others turned to him. I mean, a monster such as Namikaze in our city, I can't imagine what could happen. Yeah, I know what you mean, monkey, a bird-masked ANBU said, but we have to make sure that never happens. He. All the members of the squad turned to the rookie ANBU. He's laughing? They all asked themselves. Yeah, rookie, what's going on? You had such a big mouth for the captain, but now you're so quiet. The fox-masked ANBU looked back at his teammates. Bird, your mission has already failed. The bird-masked ANBU reeled at him in confusion and fear. What the fuck are you saying, Fox? Are you saying you spotted Naruto Namikaze just now? The others quickly got in their stances ready to intercept before the Namikaze did any damage until they heard that hollow laugh again. You IWA nin are so stupid. Monkey, you wanted to know what would happen should Naruto Namikaze infiltrate Iwa's walls? Well, the monkey-masked ANBU suddenly felt like something entered his body before pure pain engulfed him. Looking down, he saw Fox's hand ran through his stomach, ripping out of his back. The ANBU tried to scream, but was silenced as the Fox ANBU twisted his neck 180 degrees. Before Monkey's body even hit the roof he was standing on, a series of flashes happened and all his other teammates were dead as well. A kunai in their jugular. To think all of the ANBU here didn't feel the seal being placed on them pathetic. The Fox-masked ANBU quickly gathered all the bodies before shining to the border of Iwagakure. After Fox made a whistle, a team of ANBU appeared, their masks marring the symbol of Konoha. The team made their way to their Fox-masked captain until said man raised his hand, stopping them from crossing the border. The information concerning the chakra identification system was inaccurate. The grid is still active. They just increased their security. Then how did you supersede the grid, and more importantly, how do we proceed from here, Taicho? Naruto turned to his vice captain, Kat, analyzing her before responding. I simply stole the chakra signature of the ANBU I trapped and killed, that's all. Before any of his subordinates could ask how, Naruto continued. The details to my infiltration are not important. To answer your latter question, I have already created seal tags for the sole purpose of allowing an individual to bypass Iwa's security grid. The only person who's going with me though is you, Kat. Kat was unfazed. She worked best with Naruto, everyone knew. Some ninja at one point even thought her and Naruto were involved, but that rumor was soon ended when Naruto broke both of the gossip's arms. What about us, sir? Boar questioned, his arm waving to Bear and Chameleon as well. Naruto quickly got down to one knee and started making seals on the ground. After a good 2 minutes, Naruto got back up and studied his work. Your job, Boar, Bear, Chameleon, is to reverse summon Kat and I back here when we have assassinated Yakaina Abinaga, the Tsuchikage's daughter. Simply apply enough chakra for 10 Katan Gakkaku no Jutsus, and we will teleport through this seal to you. Understood. The ANBU quickly nodded their heads and Naruto gave Kat the seal. Apply the seal, Kat, and let's continue. Hi, Taicho. Kat put the seal on, and both her and Naruto, still in his fox mask, left, but not before taking the dead IWA and storing them in a scroll. The captain soon returned to the patrol routes to find no one. Strange, I told them to keep patrolling, perhaps they found something. He was cut from his musings when the rookie, Fox, bounded to him. Taicho, Sector 18 has been breached it seems. The others went to check it out. Fuku Taicho told me to stay to let you know. The captain frowned. Then why didn't he just communicate that to me electronically? I believe whatever that was causing the breach also sent some sort of EMP. All communication was down where we were, sir. The captain pondered the best sort of action. Finally looking up, he decided. Okay, let's go check out this disturbance, Fox. The captain arrived with Fox in Sector 18 of IWA, the forest area, to find his squad all dead, one with a hole in their stomach and the others with a kunai in their jugular. Looking closely at the now identified Konoha nin, the captain's eyes widened greatly. Why, you see I can't be here. No, you, Konoha's night orchid, partner to the devil himself, Namikaze. With you here, that must mean the captain was cut short as he felt his legs give out from under him. Dazed and confused, he looked to his legs to see 2 kunais buried deep in his Achilles heel tendon. TSK Taicho. After such an awe-inspiring speech you gave me back on that roof, in the end you as well as your team fell for such a simple trap. I honestly don't know whether to laugh or feel pity. The captain's eyes widened tenfold as he turned to Fox, whose voice had changed considerably. No, this can't be, it just can't, how could I let this happen? The captain prayed this was not who he thought it was, for if it was, IWA was in deep peril. Slowly the Fox ANBU peeled off his mask, revealing pale skin, fangs, scar-like whiskers, swaying, wild blonde hair with red highlights, and cold, void eyes. Those eyes, the captain shuddered. It was true. He's here. The one thing everyone in IWA knew of the second flash was that his eyes were like the Shinigami, almost like a doll's eyes, lifeless. Accepting his fate, the captain decided to at least buy time to see if there was any way he could do to warn IWA. So the Shinigami of Konoha comes personally to IWA, huh? Before you kill me, at least tell me what you are going to do with my country. Naruto walked to the IWA nin and kneeled so his face was a mere foot away from the wounded captain. If you so desire, informing you of our mission won't be harmful to us. Hokage-sama has deemed it fit to remove Iwa's hope, and that is what I intend to do. I will eliminate your hopes, and as a result also hurt Iwa's overall skill in the battlefield in one move. What? Our hopes? What does he mean? Wait, that Sachikage and I were just talking about it a few minutes ago. The princess. The captain uttered, whispering it, but Naruto heard him. Exactly, and now we must deal with you now. Naruto's hand suddenly flashed and a kunai appeared. Kat appeared behind Naruto, her hand on the kunai. Wait, Taicho, please excuse my insubordination, but shouldn't we send him to the others so we can interrogate him back in Konoha? He is the ANBU captain after all. The IWA nin's eyes harden. If you think for one fucking second you can get me to sell out my country for less pain, then you are insane, you bitch. You may be the Night Orchid and the man poised to kill me may be Iwa's worst threat, but I will never sell out my people. I will never betray my comrades' trust in me, even though we are enemies. Surely you would say the same? The IWA nin's eyes showing a multitude of emotion with determination and resolution leading. Naruto's eyes stared at the ANBU. That look, Kat scoffed. If I was ever in this position I would have already died. Cyanide pill, you see. Pity IWA nin are so reckless, like they're just asking to be tortured. Enough. Naruto's voice reverberated through the forest. The word was not shouted out, but its impact and killing intent behind it spoke volumes. Such power, thought both the captain and Kat. You will stop your mind games now, Kat. I will have none of it today. The reason I will kill him and not condemn him to Ibiki is simple. This man is a true shinobi and I refuse to send him to hell to break him. Once again, both the captain and Kat were shocked beyond all words. This is the heartless monster I have heard about. I don't understand. He's showing me mercy? Naruto, what are you doing? Your honor is getting the best of you. If the council hears of this, as if reading his subordinate's thoughts, Naruto quickly responded, the council will not hear of this, Kat. I know, because this is not the first time I have spared one I have deemed worthy to die with honor. His words, they are spoken true. I may be a monster to the people of IWA, and even to my own people, but I will not willingly stamp out another's passion. Hehehehe. That's so funny considering what you are actually doing here, Fox. Don't take the role of the chivalrous when your goal today is to eliminate Iwa's hope and passion. The captain spat out, venom evident in his voice. I don't feel obligated to humor you to your comments, fool. Just be thankful your loyalty saved you from Ibiki. I don't want your mercy. The captain yelled out. You insult me. If my men go to that bastard interrogator, so do I. I will not get special treatment. HNN was the only thing Naruto uttered before raising his kunai to finish the captain, when suddenly the ground shook and a giant dragon made of rock exploded from the ground before, heading straight for Naruto. Naruto stood his ground and punched the dragon, crushing the rock jutsu to pieces. Naruto remained unfazed as he and Kat focused on the new fighter. The smoke cleared away little by little, eventually to reveal long dark hair that cascaded down the individual's back. The figure's chest resembled Tsunade's chest, but unlike Tsunade, they didn't sag. This proved she was young. The last of the smoke showed her face and body fully. A battle-ready attire of an Iwa kunoichi adorned her with 2 swords crossed diagonally on her back. A pouch of kunai and shuriken rested on her right thigh. She was beautiful with an angel's face, but her eyes were what attracted Naruto the most. Beautiful fierce eyes flaming in fury as she glared daggers at Naruto. Naruto's face contorted into what resembled a small smile before curling even more to reveal his fangs. So it's finally you. You saved me the trouble of finding you, Yukinaheim. You saved me the trouble of finding you, Yukinaheim. Yukina's expression darkened as she continued to glare death on Naruto. Her long, jet-black hair, unlike most kunoichi, was left flowing out, as if to challenge any ninja to try and take advantage of the obvious weakness. Her eyes burned with an unspoken passion. Red-hot hate could clearly be seen as she glanced at whom was in Naruto's mercy. Naruto inwardly smirked. I see you still have not reigned in your emotion, princess of Iwa. How disappointing, Naruto drawled out like a void spirit. Yukina snorted. I see you are still your usual dead self. How dare you pass judgment on me, you pathetic human weapon. At least the Yondaime spared those who were helpless, you monster. Yukina seemed only to get angrier as she stared back at his eyes. His still dead eyes. It was as if what she said had not even registered to him. He didn't care. He truly hadn't felt any of that. Nothing. If you are done, Naruto suddenly disappeared only to reappear behind Yukina, his fist cocked back. He punched into a rock wall that rose to protect Yukina. HNN, so predictable. Applying an extremely large amount of chakra to his fist, Naruto pushed his hand deeper into the rock wall and let the chakra go all at once. The effect was instantaneous. The wall blew up in a huge explosion of pure chakra-induced power, and Yukina was forced to jump away, hissing in pain as some shrapnel from the wall hit her. She landed and molded chakra using the boar hand seal before she pushed her hands forward, and the large boulder behind her was projected at Naruto. Naruto regarded the boulder flying at him and flung a tri-tipped kunai at the boulder, lodging the weapon deep into the massive rock. He teleported in a yellow flash to the rock. Unsheathing his black katana, he appeared inches from the boulder only to slice the 20-foot megalith in half as if slicing butter with a hot knife. Naruto continued moving forward at incredible speed to Yukina, she unsheathing her own nodachis. They met in a screech of metal hitting metal, and as quickly as it happened it ended as they both disappeared, moving in blurs too fast to follow. Kat tried to follow the fight only to lose sight of them after they initially clashed swords. The only way she even knew where they were was when their swords met in a flash of steel and sparks. Being a kenjutsu user herself, Kat understood the level of swordsmanship of the fight, and could only look on wide-eyed at the battle. Beautiful. It was the only thing that could come to mind. In her stupor she almost missed the kunai headed straight for her jugular. She quickly snapped herself out of it, and backflipped while throwing 2 kunai of her own at deadly accuracy to the Iwa. She landed to see her kunai in the hands of a golem masked Anbu, the points of the kunai inches from the mask as the Anbu held the kunai between his fingers. Kat's eyes widened, recognizing who this man was. Shit, this just got a lot harder. She muttered, getting in a simple tiger stance, unsheathing her katana. The Anbu before her eyed her as well, before giving a Tora hand sign. 20 Anbu appeared surrounding her, leaving no room for escape. Now that I have you, the golem Anbu started. I'm guessing you know who I am. Kat responded almost mechanically. Naru Akanaga, Anbu commander of Iwa, wears a golem kabuki mask and is known for his brutality in battle. Infamous in Konoha as the man who defeated the Jinchuriki of the Gobi. The commander allowed a small smirk to etch on his features before speaking. I see you know me already. It's only fair I return the favor. Anbu, vice commander of Konoha Yugogo Yuzuki, wears a cat kabuki mask and is known for being a close partner to the Shinigami of Konoha, Naruto Namikaze. You are infamous for training that demon Namikaze in the art of kenjutsu. Well, that and you single-handedly destroyed an entire Iwa Anbu convoy of 16 elites. So, what happens now? Yugogo said wearily as she eyed the Anbu battalion. Well, Naru started before having to quickly dodge 2 large dragons made of fire. The 2 dragons attacked the spot Naru was only to then approach Yugogo. Yugogo felt the intense heat as the dragons were only a few feet from her when they pulled upwards and merged in a beautiful display of fire play. Out of the fusion of the dragons, Naruto stood, his cloak tattered and with some shallow cuts on his arms. If one were to look closely, however, one would see the wounds quickly healing, regenerating the skin and blood lost. Naru started to sweat as he stared into Naruto's eyes. Where was Yukina-sama? He sensed her fighting him, so where is she? His numbers could not match this man. There can be no way to win unless Yukina or Tsuchikage-sama fought him. As if on cue there was a rumble and many thought it was an earthquake, but Naruto only faintly chuckled. The earth cracked underneath the Konoha and Iwa Nines as possibly the largest dragon protruded from the ground with Yukina on top of it, panting. Her body was racked with cuts of various sizes as well as burns. Catching her breath, she found Naruto gazing up at her on the ground. Even from such a high altitude his voice still managed to reach her. You managed to survive my kamikaze no Yabia and Ibuki no Karyu combination? Very impressive, but it seems that's all you managed to do. Yukina glared down at Naruto. After their sword dance, they exchanged jutsu for jutsu and Naruto ousted her by combing many blades of wind with white fire. Yukina bit back a growl. This is how it always ends up. Me being at his mercy, and Otosama coming to save me. How can people look to me for a savior if all I do is fail? Yakaina was broken out of her thoughts by the sound of Akuchiwai's no jutsu. Now before her and her giant rock dragon stood Naruto and Yudugo on Naruto's signature summon, Gamabunta in all his glory. What is it you require, Naruto? There is an enemy that needs to die, Gamabunta. Naruto replied plainly. Gamabunta looked up at their opponent to spot Yakaina. So you still haven't killed her, huh, Naruto? The Toad boss chided. If I were to suspect something, I would think you are saving her for some. Naruto looked down at the Toad, his eyes glowing red. Kill her, Gamabunta. The Toad had no time to retort before Yukina's rock beast attacked them. Gamabunta jumped up in the air. Naruto, the Toad said quickly. Understood was all that Naruto said as he prepared a 50 sealed jutsu in a few seconds. Some no Amakakururia, Suetun, Teppadama no jutsu. Both Naruto and Gamabunta unleashed fierce attacks, combining them to create a maelstrom of water and wind, completely engulfing and destroying Yukina's dragon. Yakaina quickly jumped off the large creature and while in mid-air spun around Gamabunta's Yakuza sword as it tried to impale her. Acting fast, Yakaina used almost all her remaining chakra and clapped her hands together. The ground below Gamabunta started to shift before 4 mammoth walls of earth jutted from the earth, trapping Gamabunta inside completely, with Naruto and Yudugo as well. Yakaina smiled a weak smile as blood leaked from her mouth. Let's see you beat my jutsu, Namikaze, was all she said before making a hand sign. The walls began close in on the Toad and his passengers. With a sudden jolt, and there was a poof heard before the walls crashed into each other, causing mass destruction. The battleground was met with stunned silence. Yakaina landed safely on the ground, but quickly had to go on one knee. The last jutsu took too much out of me. Even with my bloodline, I just hope it's enough. She broke her thoughts as she was greeted by Naru and his battalion, all with wide eyes and awe. Yukina-sama, I don't know what to say. Naru stared at the huge mountain created by Yukina's jutsu, as it now housed the dead body of the Namikaze. After such an attack he had to be dead, right? Yakaina squinted at the mountain again before widening her eyes. She quickly got back into stance. Yakaina-sama? Naru, use attack form Delta, try to aim for Yuzuki. I will handle Naruto. What? Naru's question was answered as the mountain shook before igniting in a huge pillar of fire. The mountain looked more like a volcano now as the pillar continued to rise in altitude until it reached the clouds, causing the weather to change as clouds swirled around the pillar, congregating, almost showy piety to a ninja so powerful he could be considered a natural catastrophe. The heat was so hot the mountain itself started to melt, becoming magma as the rubble was reduced to nothing. The fire suddenly increased in temperature, becoming white, and Yakaina had to shield her eyes. Eventually the fire pillar died down, and Yakaina looked back at the now crater and gasped at her discovery. Naruto was in the center of the crater that was once a 100-foot mountain, with Yudugo standing next to him. Both Yudugo and he looked as though nothing had touched them, but the feel of Kyuubi's chakra alerted her as to that mystery. She looked to Naruto and for a moment their eyes met. Even though the action was only for a split second before Yakaina averted her eyes away, she noticed something off. What was that? She questioned. She was forced to let the matter go when she, as well as the other IWA Nin, was hit with the most powerful killing intent they all ever felt. It was unreal. You miserable girl, Yakaina Abunaga, by the sacred order of the venerable Sandaime Hokage, I sentence you to death. Naruto's voice no longer contained any void as it was replaced with a voice only reserved to the Shinigami. Yukina-sama. Arg. Yakaina turned to see all her subordinates, save Naru, dead and dying. They impaled with chakra lances coming from the ground, rooting to Naruto. No, I will kill you, Namikaze. I will be the one to rid you from this earth now. Gone was all carefulness as Yakaina stormed ahead, taking Naruto head on. Naruto met her and a flurry of punches and kicks were exchanged as the two powerhouses fought. Yakaina landed 5 quick punches, knocking the air out of Naruto. Taking advantage of the opportunity, Yakaina created a pike made of stone and plunged it into the blonde Anbu, only for Naruto to blow up in her face, sending her across the plane, landing on her hands and knees. Bakuretsukage Bunshin no Jutsu. Yukina's eyes widened in fear as she turned behind her to see a kick aimed for her face. Naruto finished his kick, grunting in satisfaction as he heard a cracking sound before looking down to see a pile of splinters that used to be log. Kawarimi? Naruto had no more time to think as Yakaina emerged from the ground to deliver a bone-crushing palm heel to his chin. Tedaruden! Yakaina screamed before swinging her fist at Naruto's unprotected stomach. Naruto spotted the punch before widening his eyes as Yukina's hand started to turn into stone. The punch was devastating, projecting Naruto through too many trees, too many to count, before finally stopping, his body unmoving on the ground. Yakaina kneeled again, exhausted due to the sheer magnitude of the fight, her mind reeling over what just occurred. He's not moving. He is not moving. It's over. Do not fade into fantasy yet, princess. Yakaina looked up horrified as Naruto struggled to get up, his body covered in wounds. Only you and your accursed father can push me so far. It will be sad when I kill you, Yakaina. Naruto closed his eyes and focused before opening them again, his eyes bleeding into a crimson red as the Kyuubi's chakra flooded his inner coils. 3 tails appeared behind Naruto as the Kyuubi's cloak emerged, healing Naruto's major wounds, the gashes sealing up before Yukina's very eyes. Naruto vanished only to appear next to Yukina, his arm already slashing down into her face. Acting quickly, she ducked, but winced, feeling pain in her ankle, an injury from before. She was careless. Her speed was ruined. Yukina cursed before once again trying to engage Naruto's monster-like self. The taijutsu battle ended as Yukina once again flinched in pain from the ankle injury, but this time, Naruto took advantage of the situation, shrugging off Yukina's kick to his ribs before latching on to her wounded ankle. She cried in pain as Naruto started to spin her until all Yukina saw was blurry. He let go suddenly and Yukina was sent at high speeds into a wall, but before she could hit the stone, Naruto appeared above her and kicked her into the ground, making a massive crater, her head almost touching the rock she almost hit. Dazed and too hurt to move, Yukina looked up from her wounds to squint up at Naruto's visage. The sun was over him, obscuring her view of his face, almost making him angelic. Funny, such a demon and he looks like an angel now. Slowly Yukina tried to reach for Naruto's face with her hand, extending her arm until it was perpendicular to her broken body. "You" was all she could manage before entering a coughing fit. Naru gaped at Yukina, a fear building from within him. Near the battle against the tree, the dragon masked Anbu watched, yelling for someone to do something. "Yukina-sama!" Both Naru, the dragon, and Anbu rushed as fast as they could to Naruto, hoping to make it in time. Their path was blocked though by Yugogo, as she quickly made hand seals for one of her most powerful attacks. "Dai Kamaitachi no Jutsu!" shouted Yugogo before the entire area was engulfed in a whirlwind with small Kaze no Yaiba in the wind to dice anything. Backing up, the IWA Nin realized it was too late and shook in fear, realizing their hope was going to die before their eyes. Naruto stared at Yukina as she continued her coughing fit in a blank stare. He checked himself to see his cloths in tatters and his chakra very low. Without the QB, he would collapse. Looking back at Yukina again, who was staring at him, he scoffed. "Foolish girl, you were a worthy foe," was all he muttered as his fingers lit up with a menacing black fire. The fire engulfed his entire hand, burning with a wrath to it. Yukina gazed at Naruto's hand, mesmerized yet terrified as she couldn't stop shaking anymore. She was about to die. "I guess this will be death. There were so many things I wanted to do." Yukina's eyes flashed before memories of her as a child playing alone as all the other children thought her abilities were scary. Another flash of her child years, of her poring over all her books trying to hide her tears from rejection. Yukina paid no mind to Naruto, who was staring at her eyes with a wide-eyed look, seeing the emotions in them. Looking to Naruto again, ready to die with honor, she finally noticed him. Naruto knelt over her form, his arm in an incomplete thrust, hand positioned over her heart, his fingers twitching as if they wanted to finish the move, and her life with it. What is he doing? Yukina and Naruto locked eyes, and in that moment, what was thought impossible in IWA became true. Naruto showed emotion. True emotion. Yukina gasped as she looked into his now sad eyes as his beautiful cerulean orbs portrayed a hidden motive and pain. Naruto stared right back into Yukina, his mind in overdrive as Yukina's eyes played back in his head. Those eyes, it can't be. She's like, no, I must complete this mission. With this I will be able to escape. I must. Naruto's eyes hardened as he cocked his fist back before plunging it toward Yukina. Unholy darkness flaw. Right before he was about to plunge his hand through Yukina to finally kill her, Naruto felt a heavy kick to his ribs, the force propelling him backwards through many trees before stopping, his body stuck in a boulder. "Taicho!" Yugogo shouted before backing away from the mystery attacker, who stayed behind, kneeling over Yukina. Nair appeared at the battlefield to see that Tsuchikage in his kage cloths tending to Yukina. "Yes, the scale has tipped. Our princess is alive." His shout was met with a nod of approval from the dragon Anbu as both continued to watch the battle. Yukina stared up at her father, tears glistening in her eyes as she had to be saved again by him. She looked down, unable to make eye contact with her father, ashamed of herself. "I'm sorry, father, I have failed you." The Tsuchikage continued to stare at Yukina before enveloping her in a bone-crushing hug. "Yukina, I don't care about that. I almost lost you," the Kage's eyes filling with sorrow. "You have done well, I will deal with him." Tsuchikage turned to see Naruto staring at him with his death-like eyes. Why did you save her, Aoshi-san? For all the years I have fought you, all you preach of is honor, and how much a death on the battlefield is magnificent, yet you save your daughter from that nirvana? Are you so much a hypocrite? Where is your honor, O great Tsuchikage of IWA? Naruto staggered forward, his legs bent as he slumped down before being propped up by Yugogo, her eyes filled with worry. Aoshi looked down as if contemplating something. "I admit everything you said is correct, Naruto-san, and I am in a sense a dishonorable hypocrite." But he looked back up, his eyes and expression resolute and wise. "I would become a dishonorable hypocrite any day if it meant my daughter's safety." Naruto's and Yukina's eyes both widened greatly, but their expressions couldn't be any more different. Otosama Yukina's eyes threatened to fill with tears again, but she held herself, getting up to face Naruto with her father. Naruto felt heavy. Whatever this feeling was, he had not felt it in a long time. It was a foreign feeling. The pit of his stomach burned as he watched the interaction between the strongest man in IWA and his daughter. Naruto's eyes flashed a dangerous blood red again as he focused to drown this feeling out of him. This jealousy. Naruto suddenly was in his mindscape, staring at the beast that had both ruined and saved his life. Why did you call me here, Kyubi? Naruto said, sounding almost curious. The fox never called upon him. Boy, the feelings that you don't understand, that is jealousy. It seems you long for what that bitch has. How pathetic. Naruto's gaze hardened, but he didn't say anything. You are strong, child. Perhaps even stronger than your fool of a father. Do not cling to such pathetic emotion. I have offered 1,000 times to rid you of your humanity so you could not hurt. But you refuse. Why is that? Naruto looked straight to the Kyubi without any fear before he uttered something no one could and would never hear. I refuse you because there is still some use in my humanity. My pain only propels me forward, you should know that. Also, I wish to know what it feels like just once, if maybe. His speech was interrupted by a bellowing laugh. Naruto, you really are human, aren't you? Heh. Fine, then cling to your emotion, but let me aid you now since that fool has entered our fight. Naruto nodded. Yes, the 3 tails I took already is not enough. We must unlock the next level if I am to defeat my 2 strongest foes. Agreed. Kyubi smiled evilly before 5 tails snaked around Naruto, who willingly accepted the power. Opening his eyes, Naruto glimpsed the world now in his most powerful Kyubi form, the 5-tailed state. Aoshi quickly used medical ninjutsu to heal Yukina's most severe injuries, bringing her back into the fight. Pulling herself up, Yukina took a stance with her father, ready to face the man, no monster before them. But what about his eyes, and why did he hesitate? Naruto roared, his chakra indenting the ground underneath him before taking off at unreal speeds toward the Abunaga family. Acting fast, Aoshi unsealed the metal-like bowstaff before clashing with cubified Naruto, the impact from the collision enough to create craters beneath their feet. Soon both Abunagas were exchanging attacks with Naruto in a spectacular show of kenjutsu, bojutsu, and in Naruto's case, taijutsu. Finding an opening, Aoshi swung hard into Naruto's right side, but before the staff could do damage, Naruto created a chakra field blasting away both Aoshi and Yukina, their weapons flying away from them. Without hand seals, Naruto took a deep breath and blew winds toward Aoshi equivalent to 5 futon, de tapas. Stunned, Aoshi was blown away into a tree and temporarily out of the fight. Yukina studied Naruto before extending her hand out, deep blue chakra appearing on her fingertips. One last shot, Namikaze. I will rid you of that evil power and after that your life as well. You arrogant fool. You dare threaten a seal master with his own trade? This was your last error. Roaring again, Naruto dashed at Yukina. Yukina in turn rushed at Naruto, yelling as she charged straight to death itself. Dodging Naruto's swipe, Yukina connected her seal with his stomach. Die. Fujihowan. Naruto slumped over, his chakra levels decreasing rapidly. Breathing a sigh of relief, Yukina let her guard down only to fall victim to Naruto's trickery. Now you are mine, princess of Iwa. No! Yukina was pushed out of the way as Nara took Naruto's hit instead of her. Yukina watched horrified as Naruto's hand protruded from Nara's back. No! Yukina staggered to her feet again, catching Naru as Naruto brutally pulled his hand out of him. No, Naru, why? Yukina cried, holding on to Naru as the ANBU commander took his last breaths. The golem ANBU looked to Yukina before smiling. You are our hope. I would give my life 1,000 times for you, princess. Make sure you don't die. Naru's eyes rolled into the back of his head, his body stilled never to move again. Naruto looked upon Naru's still form, his expression showing annoyance, but also a little respect. Quite admirable. It's a shame you won't be able to complete his last wish. I don't know about that, Naruto-san. Aoshi appeared to Naruto's side, taking the second flash off guard for a split second. The second was all Aoshi needed though, as he slammed his hand into Naruto's stomach. The Fujihowan was too weak, so try this, Gogia Fuin. Naruto emitted a primal scream as he was launched into a boulder 50 feet away. As the rubble cleared, Naruto was seen staggering back up, but his Kyubi chakra was completely gone. Fuck. Naruto groaned before falling to his hands and knees completely exhausted. Yukina looked to her father in appreciation before getting up slowly, but painfully. Aoshi in turn nodded to Yukina before turning to Naruto. Naruto-san, it seems you underestimated us and are now exhausted. I must admit I am also very tired and my daughter still needs medical attention. Perhaps we should call this a draw. Naruto studied Aoshi for a few moments before giving an affirmative nod. Yes, you are correct, Aoshi-san. I indeed underestimated my mission. Never think this will happen again lest you emulate my weakness today, for I assure you, I will not be merciful. Glancing at Yugogo, the cat-masked Anbyu quickly nodded before standing next to Naruto. Jinrai no Jutsu. A thunderclap sounded out the land like a gong as if signifying the end of one of the most epic battles in the war yet. A seal started to form around Naruto and Yugogo, and they shimmered out of existence. But just before they completely disappeared, Naruto shared one more glance at Yukina, his eyes reflecting something she didn't understand, leaving her to ponder it for days to come. Teleporting back to his team with Yugogo, Naruto quickly got to his feet, his previous exhaustion seemingly gone. No one noticed except for Yugogo. Taicho, is the mission a success? Bor voiced out, curious where's Yukina's body. Seeing Naruto unresponsive, Yugogo addressed Bor. There were major complications. The Tsuchikage, Yukina, and Naru Akanaga with a battalion of 20 ANBU showed up. Taicho managed to kill Naru and the ANBU and weaken the Tsuchikage and severely injure the target, but the mission was unsuccessful. Let's just go now back to the village before IWA sends their ninja on us. Nodding, everyone took off, leaving Yugogo to help Naruto. Watching his subordinate's actions, Naruto couldn't help but twist his face into a cold, lifeless smile. Yugogo, please just heal me and I will travel on my own. But sir, Yugogo stammered. Enough, let's just go. As soon as we reach a no-danger zone you'll heal me, understood? Yugogo sighed, understanding Naruto's reluctance for aid. Life was so unfair. I understand, sir. Slinging Naruto's arm around her neck, Yugogo felt wetness before looking up, seeing rain clouds above. She quickly shunned Shine, catching up with the rest of the team with Naruto. Back to Konoha. As soon as Yakaina couldn't sense the Konoha Nin anymore, she quickly collapsed. Her strength finished. She surveyed the once beautiful scenery, as it now resembled the many war grounds between IWA and Konoha. More destruction, more death, why must it continue? This was so close to our city. A little more and IWA could have been. She broke from her thoughts when she heard a voice calling to her. Yakaina, we must leave quickly and organize ourselves. More importantly, I must get you to the hospital. Yakaina glanced down at herself. From what she could discern, she had multiple rib fractures, a broken ankle, a dislocated shoulder, internal bleeding, as well as multiple cuts and gashes on her body. Damn it! How could I have allowed myself to lose to him again? He always can stand after our battles, damn him. Damn him for doing this. Yakaina tried to get up when two strong arms lifted her up bridal style. She looked behind her only to smile when she saw who it was. Sensei. Yakaina, she almost completely forgot about her Kenjutsu teacher. The dragon-masked Anbu smiled back and nodded to her. He no longer had his mask on, discarding it for better vision in the battle, so his brown eyes and scruffy-looking face showed. He seemed to be one any would imagine to be at home, living a civilian's life with a family, not the Anbu captain he is. Aoshi regarded the captain before slapping the man's back, eliciting a hiss from the Anbu. I assume you want to take her to the hospital then, Sujiro. The now identified Sujiro nodded as he looked down at Yakaina, who seemed to be drifting in and out of consciousness. It's the least I could do. She's my pupil and I couldn't anything but watch as she saved me from him, Aoshi-sensei. Aoshi nodded and started to go back to the village, having already sent a flare for reinforcements to clean up the bodies and secure the perimeter. You did all you could, Sujiro. I don't think even I can hold a candle to that Namikaze when he enters the QB state. What will you do now, Aoshi-sensei? The village will be in a panic if they find out we were infiltrated by the devil himself. What's more is that Nara is dead. I don't know what will happen, Sujiro. Let me think on this. I must handle the council for now. Go give Yakaina to the medics and wait for me to come afterwards. We can discuss this further. Hide Sachikage-sama. Sujiro disappeared in a plume of smoke as Aoshi stood alone now where just minute ago was a devastating battle. To think Konoha is so desperate for victory they would put their best in harm's way. That cannot be. No, there's another reason why they sent him here. I saw his exhaustion. If certain factors would have occurred, the Shinigami of Konoha might have died today. Aoshi quickly left as well, shining away to his office, leaving the scarred land of the fight. Report. Mission was a failure, sir. That Sachikage's daughter still lives. Sarutobi couldn't help but be surprised as he looked closely into Naruto's emotionless orbs. Never had Naruto failed on a mission in the war, let alone a mission of this importance. What was the situation that caused this failure? That would be that Sachikage himself, Hokage-sama, as well as the ANBU commander, Naru Akanaga, and an ANBU envoy. The old leader sighed in frustration as he pinched the bridge of his nose, his stress and old age showing. This assassination would have led to a Konoha victory in the war. He had sent his best, and it was the perfect opportunity. This will not go well with the council. Sarutobi finally looked up at the ANBU squad, all perfectly fine except for Cat, who had minor cuts and burns, and Fox, whose only injuries now after Cat and QB healed him, ranged from cuts and scratches as well. From what you have told me so far, it seems that IWA will be in a state of extreme security for a while. Would that be correct? Naruto nodded a stiff affirmative. It's safe to say we have almost no chance of doing this kind of offensive again, so tell me, what can be salvaged from this Fox? Sensing the Hokage's ire toward Naruto, Yugogo quickly tried to alleviate the tense environment. The situation isn't all that disastrous, sir. Naruto managed to kill 20 of Awa's ANBU as well as the ANBU commander before we had to retreat. Also it can be noted that the Sachikage and the target were injured as well, with the latter being in critical condition. Though Taicho couldn't finish the mission, he managed to incapacitate 2 of Iwa's greatest fighters as well as kill another. Sarutobi shifted his glance to the purple-headed woman, his hopes starting to rise. So you mean Naru Akanaga has been killed and that Sachikage and his daughter are at the moment too injured to be a problem? This time Naruto chose to join the conversation. Hi Hokage-sama. While Aoshi Abunaga is relatively fine, Yakaina Abunaga will not be recovering for a while, and Iwa's ANBU force is also slightly crippled, having lost 20 of their elite. Naruto quickly went down on one knee. I know I failed my mission, sir, and I accept any punishment given to me by you. I see. Sarutobi continued to look at Naruto's kneeling figure. You have done well, Team Fox, regardless of the outcome. You all have helped cripple Iwa's leadership, and even though Yakaina is not dead, Naru was almost just as important. Also, your battle with the Tsuchikage and Yakuina has given us a great opportunity to take advantage of their weakness to attack more than ever. For now you all are dismissed, but I want Cat and Fox to be in the council room in 1 hour to explain the mission results to them. I can't be there because I must oversee preparations for this new development. While Sarutobi was talking, all seemed to have missed the small tense Naruto gave when he mentioned council. All except one though. Taicho. Naruto stopped his walk down the hall of the Hokage Tower to see Yugogo jogging towards him. He waited till she was a few feet away before continuing to walk, eyeing Yugogo out of his peripherals. What is it that you require, Kat-san? Yugogo quickly got in front of Naruto, stopping his progress altogether. Swallowing her nervousness as Naruto gave her a look of annoyance, Yugogo decided to voice her observations from watching him report to the Hokage. I apologize for my rudeness, Taicho, but I would like to inquire if you are okay about the mission. Naruto raised his brow at Yugogo. Now mildly interested, she had the gall to openly question him about his feelings. Of course, out of everyone in this village she perhaps was the only one he could relay some things to, given she has been with him since the beginning. Naruto quickly checked around before looking at Yugogo, motioning her to follow him via Shunshin. They both appeared on the top of the Hokage heads as the sunset was just cascading into dusk, the last rays of sunshine giving the sky a hue of red and orange. Beautiful, isn't it, Yugogo? Yugogo could only nod as she looked on towards the sunset before realizing he said her name. I guess it would be okay to call you by your name too, right, Naruto? Naruto nodded as well before turning her back to her, his body pointing towards the sunset. You asked if I was okay about the mission. First of all, what gives you the right to question me who is your superior? Second, why do you care? It is not as though my feelings affect you, Yugogo-san, Naruto replied in a clipped professional tone, hiding everything. Yugogo saw through this though. She had trained Naruto, ate with him, and did missions with him as well as many other things. She knew Naruto when he was angry, indifferent, or even on rare occasions interested. She calmly walked up to him, convinced that the man in front of her, the man that people have cursed a monster, demon, murderer, and fiend, will not hurt her for what she was going to say. Standing side by side, she now glanced at Naruto, who was studying her, with scrutiny and even curiosity. Naruto, you need not hide your emotions from me. I have always cared for your safety and health even when you do not appreciate it. Naruto's eyes softened if only slightly as he remembered the days of his youth when he was still innocent, and how it was Yugogo, Kakashi, and Lord Sarutobi who were there for him. Sarutobi protected him before he could protect himself, Yugogo there whenever Naruto needed her, and Kakashi took him under his wing to make sure he'd survive in the ANBU. He owes his life to those three people. Lowering his guard, the Kage-level shinobi locked eyes with Yugogo, allowing himself to gaze into all her features. She was truly a beautiful and kind person. At the very least I should give her something. Ichinen, you wish to know the truth then? I will comply. The truth is I am disgusted with myself. Yugogo reeled back, taken by complete surprise. What? Why? What have you done? She took notice as Naruto brought his hands up to his face, staring blankly before curling his fist, his knuckles turning white. Why is it that even though I have sacrificed my life for strength and have surpassed my limitations that I must always lose? This latest mission has just been a string of failures for me. I may be the most powerful man in Konoha, but I am nowhere near my goals. I have sacrificed everything for nothing. Yugogo grimaced, knowing what Naruto meant. You want to leave here, don't you? He glanced at her, and beneath his icy eyes she smirked at what she saw with shock. Yes, it's not hard to figure out, Naruto. You've had a hard life, but everything possible can be gained in Konoha thanks to who you are one way or another. Everything except freedom, Naruto finished. I want to be rid of this village. I am tired of being the broken tiger, which must bow to corrupt masters. Sometimes I wish Lord Hokage had just left me alone to the fate of an emotionless tool. Perhaps then I wouldn't have to feel this pain. I'm sorry, Naruto. If it helps, I will be there for you. I made a promise to you when you were younger, and I care for you too, so I don't intend lose you. If you go, I'll leave as well. She almost laughed seeing Naruto's expression. What, you don't believe me? The blonde killer snorted before looking forward. You have done too much for this monster. I can't help but wonder sometimes what would I have been without you. Now it was Yugogo's turn to snort. Ha, you would have probably leveled the village and left, but not before conquering another village for Hokage-sama to rule. Both commander and vice commander of ANBU chuckled as they stood side by side watching the sun go down, enjoying what little peace they could. Taicho, Naruto turned to the mantis-masked ANBU kneeling before him. Report. In an instant the slight playfulness in Naruto's voice disappeared, making way for his void-like speech. Sir, the council demands your presence immediately. Naruto looked down. He knew what would happen. Understood, dismissed. The ANBU quickly spared no time, shining as fast as possible away from Naruto. Said man looked down again, but this time in anger. They still believe I am a droid, Yugogo. I still have to endure their treatment of me. Yugogo turned around and started to walk back to the village. Well, my Taicho, I meant what I said earlier. I'll be there for you, and that includes this meeting. Like all the others, let's take the long way. What is her status? She has 14 broken bones, with at least one break in every appendage. She had internal bleeding, but we stabilized it before it could get worse. The biggest issue was her right arm. The arm was damaged to the point where it was debatable to amputate, but in the end she was saved. She needs a week in bed, thanks to her abilities, and she's good for battle. Sujiro released a breath he didn't know he was holding. To think the fight was so bad, Yukina-sama's fighting career was almost finished. After the doctor's analysis, Sujiro walked back into the hospital room to see his pupil. Yukina's eyes were focused on the ceiling, yet her look in them was empty. Sujiro straightened himself out and walked forward. Yukina-sama, Yukina-sama. Little by little the IWA princess turned her head to peer at Sujiro, who sat in the chair right next to her bed. Yukina-sama, I have just received word from the doctor. He believes you will recover in about 1 week's time. You will stay here for that time and get better, and you'll be out of here in no time. Yukina tried to give a smile, but memories from her battle reappeared in her mind. Her loss was most shameful. She is soundly defeated by the son of the bastard who made her motherless, and it was done in her own homeland. As she continued to piece together the battle and its outcome, she came to a sound conclusion. Sensei. Yukina's void tone startled and temporarily took Sujiro by surprise. Never had she spoken like this. He was broken out of his thoughts when Yukina continued. Sujiro-sensei, I am pathetic. Sujiro blinked. Yukina would never say that. I have shamed IWA, I have lost over and over again to him. The citizens adore me for supposedly being on par with him, but all I have done was barely hold him off for Tusama to come save me. My people, the men, women, and children of my beautiful village, they adore and love a failure. Tears spilled from Yukina's eyes, but she continued on looking at her sensei, letting the tears soak her sheets. My incompetence in this battle has killed Neru, who was one of our best. I have weakened the village because I cannot beat him. How can I be the next Tsuchikage and protect my nation, when I know that man will be Konoha's Hokage? How can my father leave this village in my hands knowing I will fail to keep it safe from that monster? Sujiro was at a loss. His student was always ready to move forward and conquer, ready to take on any challenge and win. Has this loss affected her so much? He steeled his nerves and met Yukina's pleading eyes. Yukina, I will not mince words, you lost. Naruto Namikaze has trumped you in fighting skill and prowess. By sacrificing his humanity, that boy has gained power beyond all of our comprehension. However, in doing that he shames himself. Yukina's eyes widened. Yes, Yukina, you see, Konoha boasts of having a second yandame, but that boy is so far from that man. Minato Namikaze was a bastard, and I will always hate him for killing so many of our forces, but at the same time I respect him. He never attacked those who could not defend themselves and never killed the innocent. He was truly honorable and worthy of being Iwa's foe. Naruto tried to kill me even though I was bound and helpless. He said he was sparing me from Ibiki, but that kid has no feeling. The look on his face is nothing. He is nothing. Nothing but a boogeyman, and with all nightmares comes their demise when the sun rises from the tops of the IWA mountain ranges. Sujiro's gaze never left Yukina's as he fixed a look so focused onto his pupil. Yukina felt she had no need to listen. Yukina, my student, you are Iwa's light. You may not know yet, but it is you who will destroy the nightmare which is Naruto Namikaze and bring IWA into the golden rays of the sun once again. Yukina's tears have long dried as she absorbed her sensei's words before closing her eyes. Opening them again, Yukina's brilliant dark orbs had such an intensity to them Sujiro had trouble keeping eye contact. Sensei, thank you so much. I will try harder than ever. I will bring peace to IWA, I swear it. Sujiro smiled when he heard that. I have no doubt in my mind you will save us, Yukina. You are our princess after all. Yukina-chan. A loud voice rang throughout the hospital, causing both Yukina and Sujiro to jump before turning to see the Tsuchikage panting. Before Yukina could blink, Aoshi was by her side doing his own medic checks with whatever medjutsu he had. Father, I am fine. You don't have to worry. Worry? How, you should have seen yourself just a couple hours ago. You looked like hell, he said in a matter-of-fact tone. Before Yukina could retort, he beat her to the punch. Wait, my daughter. Please don't condemn me for loving you so much. You look and act so much like your mother. I can't help but worry. You're all I have left in this world, other than the village. Yukina looked down in shame and sadness when her father mentioned her mother, Kikyo Abinaga. Yukina never got to know her really, but Aoshi told her a lot. She was an IWA jounin and was regarded as Iwa's best. She along with Aoshi were known throughout the elemental nations as the most fearful earth users in the world. They were a perfect team in battle and outside of it. It was only towards the end of the Third Shinobi World War did disaster strike and she was wounded. Konoha's legendary Yellow Flash. The blonde fought her mother and father, resulting in a grand battle. The outcome was a draw as both parties were too tired to fight and had to be brought back. However, one of the wounds Kikyo received when fighting resulted in an infection. She contracted a disease and was forced into a hospital bed for the rest of her life. She finally died giving birth to Yukina after living life as a bedridden shell of her former glory, the Namikazes. Yukina squeezed her hands till they were white. That family has brought too much pain to this country, to this village, to her. Gomen-sama, I know you love me and I love you too. Aoshi smiled at his daughter before adopting a professional face. Yukina, the infiltration of IWA by Konoha is unacceptable. We have allowed our greatest enemies, possibly our greatest secrets. Moreover, IWA has lost good men for nothing. Therefore, to right this wrong, I am placing you in charge of a contingent of ANBU to find and assassinate Naruto Namikaze. Yukina's eyes widened. Has her father gone mad? Tusama, you cannot actually think I am a match for him, do you? I was just destroyed by him. In front of you no less. Yukina continued to stare at her father, who held a smirk on his features. Yukina opened her mouth to speak again when Aoshi's raised hand stopped her. He may be able to defeat you now, but you have still not totally mastered everything of our bloodline daughter. This mission is set for 1 month from now. In that time I will personally be training you so you will be most prepared to terminate him. Yukina was shocked. The final stages of her bloodline. She will finally be able to match him. Yes, father, I am ready. As soon as I am released from the hospital I will work my hardest to ensure Naruto Namikaze breathes his last breath on my stained blade. Naruto Namikaze, do you have anything to add to what is described on this mission report? Naruto shook his head in a negatively with as little emotion as possible. He stood before the venerable council of Konoha, the overseers of the great tree, and the holders of the leash tied to his neck. No, venerable council, my report included everything that occurred during the infiltration. I assure you this is the truth. The man who he was speaking to was named Kotaro. He was an old ninja who served in the council as a representative of the dying Kurama clan. Coincidentally, the Kurama clan was one of the most affected clans during the Kyuubi attack 13 years ago. Kotaro glared at Naruto, hoping to intimidate him, but it was no avail. Naruto's expression remained a void. Kotaro shivered as he gazed into Naruto's eyes to try and find something alive, only to fail. Naruto's expression did change, however, when he felt his hand squeezed by someone. Looking to the culprit, Naruto saw Yugogo standing next to him, a look of sympathy in her eyes. He softened his features when he looked at her. He would never look upon her as he did upon them. Sensing the human weapon's temporary weakness, another council member jumped to interrogate Naruto. If that is the case, Namikaze, how is it you lost? Moreover, why did you not stay until the mission was completed? Naruto visibly seemed unperturbed, however he was using all of his willpower to not slice the unguarded neck of Hayashi Hyuga. How can you expect Taicho to accomplish such a suicide mission? Yugogo all but screamed. He couldn't walk, let alone fight anymore, and reinforcements from IWA were coming. Yugogo soon found herself under the scrutiny of every council member, as they judged her with their old eyes. Learn your manners, ANBU member Yuzuki. I still am against you even being here, as it is the captain's job to answer to any complication. Be that as it may, you Naruto Namikaze must be punished for the failure of what could have been the greatest mission to end this war. Koharu, who was Sarutobi's old teammate, voiced absolute authority as her response was met with nods from her colleagues. Yugogo could only watch as 2 ANBU appeared before putting their hands on Naruto. One look from the Shinigami of Konoha, however, was enough to make both of the arrogant rookie ANBU let go and fall to the floor, shivering as they locked eyes with Naruto, whose eyes bled red before them. Enough! Hamura, another teammate of Sarutobi, stood up before walking to Naruto and backhanding the teen hardly across the face. You will learn your place, weapon. You have been trained to finish every mission even at the cost of your life, and you just failed that. Beyond that, you actually have the audacity to scare soldiers of Konoha with your malice? Hamura continued to glare down at Naruto, who hadn't seemed to have recovered from the blow. Naruto's face was turned to the side in such a way Hamura could not see the blonde's facial features. Had he seen Naruto in that moment, he would have saw fury. Pure loathing. A kind of anger only seen in those who have just witnessed their children slaughtered before them. Naruto slowly reverted his face forward while schooling his hatred. Soon Naruto knelt in front of Hamura and brought his gaze down, showing submission. My most humblest apologies, Honorable Council. I have overstepped myself. Yes, you have. Your punishment was going to be just the norm for your errors, however I believe your usual sentence should be doubled. Kotaro smiled as his words caused many council members to nod. Among his supporters, Kotaro counted the Yamanakas, Akamichis, Koharu, Hamura, Hyugas, Aburames, and all of the civilian council. Kotaro chuckled. He may not have been an influential shinobi, but he knew politics and its tricks. Even without the support of the Naros, Inuzukas, and Danzo, with the support of 4 main bloodline families as well as the main council of Koharu and Hamura, the civilian sector of the council will quickly follow the majority. No! You can't do this! Naruto did nothing wrong. If he were any other shinobi, there would have been a celebration in his honor for killing Naru Akanaga. Please, Honorable Council, he doesn't deserve this. Yugogo pleaded, hoping to spare Naruto from the punishment they were going to place him in. I agree with Vice Commander Yuzuki. This punishment is unnecessary. Shikaka voiced out as Danzo nodded and Tsum backed. Yeah, why must we be so harsh? This is his first failed mission. I feel you are basing your decisions off something else, Tsum shouted, growling at the rest of the council. Koharu regarded Tsum, answering. He is a weapon, Inazaka-sama, trained to wield the greatest of the tailed beasts. We expect perfection and, more importantly, obedience. The sentence is final. Yugogo felt a lead in her gut as she couldn't believe what was happening. Taicho, how can you just stand there? They are going to torture you. As if hearing her thoughts, Naruto looked back to her before staring deep into her, as if he was looking to her soul. Vice Commander Yuzuki. Naruto's voice was the same as always, revealing nothing. Yugogo snapped in attention. Hi Taicho, go home. It was such a simple command, yet 2 words never had such a weight to it. But Sir Yugogo tried to say before she was cut short by Naruto. That is an order, Yuzuki. Go home and wait till our squad has a mission. I will inform you, of course. Yugogo gave a quick nod before disappearing in a shunshin, rushing away as quickly as possible to not show the council and more importantly Naruto her tears. She reappeared in her home before letting the hurt and guilt and fears show. Hurt for how callous and evil the leaders of Konoha were, guilt for just standing there watching everything unfold. Fear for Naruto, as he must stay to face those monsters alone. Alone. You were always alone, huh, Naruto? She said out loud as a single tear fell from her chin followed by another. Even I, who was like your mother, lover, friend, sister, colleague, and partner, could never even begin to fathom you. Regardless, will give everything to you and hope that I will be enough to keep your sanity. She sat on her kitchen chair before looking forward, waiting, hoping a mission would come soon. So my favorite pastime arrives. Naruto slowly walked to the man who spoke to him before the ANBU behind him yanked his chains downwards. Letting all thoughts of resistance go, he fell to his knees in front of the man hidden in the shadows. The darkness prevented anyone from discerning any specifics on the man, but Naruto was not just anyone. His advanced vision showed the man to be hideously scarred. The man's face was even slightly disfigured and his hands and any other part of his body not covered in his cloak had permanent burn marks. He was a fortunate, or rather unfortunate, survivor of the Kyuubi attack. Naruto never learned of this man's name, even after all these years of the same punishment if he did something unsatisfactory. He was resigned to discard his thoughts as his eyes traced the dark room. It was an old ANBU torture chamber located 3 stories under the ground, 4 miles away from Konoha. He had memorized every outline of this place from all the times he came here. He hadn't been sent here for a while though. It was a year since they punished him, the last time being for voicing his thoughts concerning a blatant suicide mission to bomb a nested IWA base. As he continued to refamiliarize himself with his surroundings, he spotted 2 ropes just hanging from the ceiling. Noticing Naruto's curiosity, the shadow decided to humor him. Oh Naruto-kun, this is just a new addition. See, due to budget cuts the council can only afford these 2 ropes as your support when I punish you. The rest of the funds were directed towards this. He motioned toward the whip on a table. You see, this cost a lot since it was created to hurt anything, even you, Naruto-kun. Naruto stared at the man with no recognition before walking to the ropes and holding onto them, his back now bare. Good, you know the drill. I guess I should begin then. The first hit was the worst. The spikes drilled into him with sickening precision as it tore his back apart. Regardless, Naruto showed no outward acknowledgement. Waiting for it heal, Naruto showed his first expression since he entered the room, surprise. Oh, if you were thinking your healing factor would save you, like always, I'm happy to inform you the Aburames were more than willing to let me test their new poison. Enjoy. The second hit was only worse. Don't worry, Naruto-kun, only 18 left. Oh wait, it was double today, my apologies. Time skip, 3 weeks. Naruto Namikaze. Naruto and his team stood at attention in front of Sarutobi, waiting for orders. We have received word of a sighting of Itachi Uchiha near Tanzakagai. Your team is to investigate, and if Itachi is found you are authorized to use lethal force. Understood. A chorus of hiss resonated throughout the Hokage office. Good, now dismissed. Naruto, Yugogo, and the rest disappeared, leaving Sarutobi alone. Please Naruto, succeed. Naruto scouted out the roofs of the city of Tanzakagai. His mission simple. To find and neutralize a man who was his mentor, friend, and only other person other than Yugogo to acknowledge him as a human. His team was on the other side of the city led by Yugogo. Searching for any hidden or suppressed chakra signatures, he stopped his search on a tea house. Naruto smirked before dropping down and entering the establishment. Sitting down on a mat next to a cloaked man, Naruto glanced at him before ordering a green tea from a young waitress, who merely blushed and hurried away. The man had a small figure like that of a woman, but Naruto knew this man was powerful. His cloak was adorned with red clouds and his face was concealed by a ceremonial casa, but Naruto could feel the man's aura. How is your vacation from Konoha, Itachi-senpai? It is superb, Naruto-kun. How is your vacation from Konoha, Itachi-senpai? It is superb, Naruto-kun. Naruto smiled before he fully turned to Itachi, whose hand was slowly pulling down his casa. You know, Itachi-senpai, it wasn't very hard to find you. For your sake I hope you haven't neglected your training. Itachi in turn smiled as he revealed his face to Naruto. His visage was one of a hardened shinobi, yet his face and body was unmarred by scars. The only indication of his veteran shinobi status was his eyes. The same charcoal eyes that were now boring into Naruto's orbs in a battle of dominance. Without warning, Itachi's eyes bled into his Sharingan, and Naruto in turn morphed his icy blue eyes into that of the Kyuubis. Some customers in the tea shop eyed the exchange as a sign of trouble, but really it was only a way to create a better atmosphere to discuss things. Naruto's mindscape. Senpai, there is much to discuss. I fear the conversation needed to take place in a more secure location. Itachi shrugged before walking towards Naruto, his feet in a lazy drawl, yet at the same time calculated. I have no doubt what you want to discuss is important, Naruto-kun. It is for that reason I answered your call you sent a week ago and was in the tea shop. Naruto nodded in thanks before walking down the hall of his sewer-like mind, beckoning Itachi to join him. Thank you, senpai. The reason I called you is to inform you of my plans. Itachi couldn't help but raise an eyebrow. Really, so soon? I take it you believe the war will end soon. Naruto continued walking side by side with Itachi, his face forward. His eyes glanced out at Itachi though, and he smirked. Yes, I in fact believe this war will end very soon. The two stopped walking as they both stood in front of a giant cage, in the middle of the metal prison a small seal. I will not mince words with you, senpai. Up until a week ago I thought I would have to wait years for my plans. I thought I was going to suffer the life of the council's slave, but I have reached an epiphany. Itachi remained impassive, waiting for Naruto to continue. Allowing the pause, Naruto continued. I have found a way to fully control Kyuubi. The reaction was instantaneous. What? Itachi uttered in a silent voice, his usually stoic face colored with a myriad of emotion. How can you? The Kyuubi's full power cannot be controlled by anyone with the exception of the Shodai of Konoha and Madara Uchiha, and they needed the fullest capabilities of their respective bloodlines. Foolish Uchiha. Just like your founder, you are quick to judge what is and is not possible. A mad cackle resonated throughout the cage as the sewer water rippled before two blood-red eyes opened. However, you are in your own way right. Except for those two fools you mentioned earlier, even with my cooperation, Naruto would never control my full power, or at least what was my full power. Itachi gave an inquisitive expression before Naruto turned to him. When Yoname-sama, my father, sealed Kyuubi into me, he first sealed the Kyuubi's Yin chakra into the Shinigami. Naruto smiled before eyeing the scowling fox. The fox before you is the true Kyuubi, however he is only half of his true capabilities. Naruto took the moment to study Itachi, the corners of his mouth curling to form a dark smile as Itachi thought of the implications. Slowly the Uchiha genius looked up to Naruto. If what you say is true and you can truly control the full power within you, what would it even matter? At best your full power would be equivalent to the Gobi. Compared to the Hachibi container who fully controls all of his demon, your power pales in comparison. Naruto laughed at Itachi's clueless look. It was not often he stumped one such as Itachi. You are correct, senpai, I am actually weak in terms of demonic power, however the circumstances for that weakness are going to make me the pinnacle of all shinobi, explained Naruto. Itachi gave his full attention, wondering what was on his younger friend's head. Naruto chuckled before smiling that same dark smile. When I first found out Kyuubi wasn't complete, I was furious. You could imagine how I felt. It would be as if someone took one of your eyes. I found out in a rather precarious incident, really. You see, the council sometimes believes they should remind me of their dominance over me, so they punish me. By punish I mean they torture me in an old ANBU interrogation room 3 stories underground. Itachi's only reaction was his eyes hardening, but he did not say anything, wanting to hear more. One of these sessions happened to be 3 weeks ago after a failed attempt to assassinate the IWA princess. They used a new method to torture me via a new whip and poison, which resulted in me having to evoke a hell of a lot of Kyuubi's chakra after the punishment to fully heal myself. Naruto walked to the cage and placed his hand on the gate, his blonde and red bangs partially covering his eyes. It was at that moment, after using the Kyuubi's chakra since I was 8, that I found Kyuubi's limit. Itachi widened his eyes before nodding. I see, so you found out that way. Kyuubi is supposed to have near unlimited chakra. A chakra generator even. Naruto nodded back in agreement before continuing. Yes, no one told me of this, so I was naturally shocked and afterward enraged. Of course, after a week of contemplation I realized something. What happened to Kyuubi's other half? I studied more and I came up with this. If half of Kyuubi is with me and is sentient, then the other half of Kyuubi, which is equal in every way, must be sentient as well. Meaning there are essentially 2 Kyuubis if the Shinigami ever released the Yin chakra of the Kyuubi. Wouldn't the 2 Kyuubis then fuse immediately? I thought the same thing, senpai. But after discussing it with the Kyuubi, he informed me his Yin chakra, if released, can't reach him because of the Shiki Fujin seal. This means the Yin chakra will instead manifest an entirely new Kyuubi. Almost like a clone. And how would you go about controlling this clone if the Shinigami releases it? Naruto laughed. Simple, I will have to defeat the second Kyuubi in a battle, then form a summoning contract with it, just as Madara did with the Kyuubi so many years past. Naruto raised his hands up in the air in triumph. When that happens, Itachi, I will have control of the full power of the Kyuubi. Half of the power would go to me like usual, and the other half would be used as another being to serve me. The perfect summon who could ask for more than a bijou. Itachi stared on in awe at the genius of it all before returning to a solemn look. Impossible. Itachi walked up to Naruto, his body only feet away from the gate. If you achieve this, Naruto, I have no doubt you would become the most powerful ninja in the world, with your summon being greater than Hanzo the Salamander's by far. However, how will you go about fully controlling the Kyuubi's power you have now, when you can only control 5, maybe 6 tails of the power? In order to defeat the other Kyuubi you would need full control of what you have now, and furthermore, how do you plan to extract the other side of the Kyuubi from the death god of all things? Itachi sighed and looked up towards the ceiling, refusing to see Naruto's eyes. I cannot see this as a possibility, Naruto, this is impossible. Senpai, I'm surprised has being a missing nin truly lowered your imagination. Pity, really allow me to enlighten you. Naruto snapped his fingers before a toad materialized in front of them. The toad's midsection was actually a gigantic scroll. Itachi regarded the toad before looking back at Naruto, his eyes asking an explanation. You see, Itachi, my father wouldn't just seal the Kyuubi into me without a key to undo what he did. This is such a key. This, senpai, is the key to the Shikifujin and the way to get to the Shinigami. Naruto nodded to the toad before the toad pulled his stomach to the side, revealing the intricate code. With the key, senpai, I have found a way to bring the Shinigami back into this realm without the need to sacrifice the user. While doing this, I will also solve the problem of having enough demonic power to fight the Kyuubi. I'm going to temporarily release the seal from my person and release Kyuubi into the world. But instead of killing me and possessing my body, my Vulpine friend here is going to wait and help me defeat himself and later on possess and control his defeated body. This way I will keep half of Kyuubi's chakra with the seal, and Kyuubi will have a body with half of his chakra as well. That still doesn't tell me how Shinigami will appear. Naruto looked at Itachi again with a smile that reached from ear to ear. Well, you see, senpai, that's where you come in. I need you to use your Manjikyu Sharingan to create a pocket dimension to the Shinigami's realm where I will use the yang chakra of the Kyuubi to pull the yin chakra, and in turn, the Shinigami to this realm. I'll then sacrifice a soul of equal power to the Shinigami in exchange for the yin chakra, and my plans will be set in motion. I see. I apologize for questioning you again, but how will your body handle the full extent of Kyuubi's chakra you have now? I distinctly remember your skin peeling off after you fifth tail. Also, what soul do you have in mind for the exchange? Naruto was about to answer but was interrupted by a soft chuckle. Interesting, you look at all angles, a weasel indeed. I will answer your question. No human can take a demon's form without damage to themselves. It's a fact. The only thing Jinchurikis can do is reduce the damage. To completely remove this factor, you will turn Naruto into a demon. Itachi finished. Smart human. Yes, I will fill Naruto's veins, arteries, chakra coils, even capillaries with my chakra when he temporarily breaks the seal. Our chakras will fuse and he will transform and ascend into a superior race. My race. The transformation will take a while, so that's why the seal was needed to ensure success. But after the change it won't be needed. As for the soul needed to exchange for my other half, well, I'll let you tell him, Naruto. Naruto smirked before locking eyes with Itachi. That will also require your help, Itachi. You see, I plan to take the Gobi you already sealed in your Gedo Mezendus, but the statue will only be vulnerable during Itachi's eyes lit up in understanding. I believe you understand now. I need you to pretend to have captured me. When they try to seal me, that's when I'll act. Incredible. To have created such a plan and for that plan to reap such rewards. Itachi smiled a genuine smile. You make living fun, Naruto. I'll give you that. Seeing as you need me for most of this to work and I am your friend, I will assist you. Naruto smiled back at Itachi before adopting a thoughtful expression. Or you could be saying yes so you can see all this pan out, right? You know me too well, Naruto, although I am your friend. I know, senpai. That's why you're one of the only ones I trust with my life. How long do you think all this will come to fruition? Tell the Akatsuki leader I'll be in Kikyo Pass next week. Have him send you and Kisame to me. From there I'll kill Kisame and you proceed to defeat me. This must be believable, for I know Zetsu will be watching. Yes, a week it is. I must say, Naruto, I am impressed. It will be my honor to help you achieve this, for it will test my capacity to its fullest as well. I hope you won't mind a partner though, as Akatsuki, specifically Madara, will probably try to kill me after this. Of course, senpai. I dare say we'll be the most powerful trio in the world. May I inquire as to who is the third man, Naruto? Why, Kyuubi, of course. My abilities concerning every ninja concept save Genjutsu is Kage level. That statistic will only increase after my transformation. You and your Genjutsu will fill the gap I make, and Kyuubi will amplify us even further in terms of massive destruction, ensuring that not even another summon, or an entire village could match us. Naruto looked up and laughed again, but it was a cold laugh. With our power we can finally change the world, Itachi, and achieve our true objective, what we always wanted. Yes, peace to the world. A land without wars, hee hee ha ha ha. Yes, mankind is corrupt and disgusting. They plot against each other and kill each other without hesitation, only to further their own agendas. No other creature would delve in such belligerence, but a human. Are we done here, Naruto? I must be on my way. I have much to prepare for, it seems. Yes, we are done. Remember, Itachi, 1 week from now in Kikyo Pass. I will be on a solo mission. The mindscape began disappearing as both Itachi and Naruto faded away. What seemed like hours passed within seconds in reality, as Naruto and Itachi found themselves once again in the tea house, their tea still hot. Till then, Naruto-kun. Itachi put his kasa back on before walking to the exit, disappearing, heading eastward. Naruto nodded before staying his place, finishing his tea. His team found him 10 minutes later on top of the roof of the tea house. Report. Negative, sir. We didn't find anything. It seems it was a false sighting. Bor sounded out before staying silent. Well, I didn't find him, but I have a clue where he will be. Let's head back. Move. Once again Naruto and his ANBU squad stood in front of the Hokage, but this time council members Koharu and Hamura were there too. Report, Naruto. Has Itachi Uchiho been terminated? Naruto shook his head. That's a negative, sir. There were no tracks of Itachi in Tanzakagai. Naruto quickly noted the council members' displeasure and readied himself for his act. ANBU Captain Naruto Namikaze, this is an outrage. You are our best and yet you continue to fail. I beginning believe your last punishment wasn't enough. Hamura glared at Naruto, only for the Fox ANBU to respond. I wasn't finished, council member. You see, I managed to find a lead that said that Itachi will be in Kikyo Pass next week for a mercenary mission. That said, allow my team and I to handle this. By next week Itachi will be neutralized. I stake my life on it. Koharu's eyes flashed dangerously. You shouldn't gamble so loosely, Namikaze. One sees how leads are so easily forged and false. True, but the person I spoke to is a part of Jiraiya of the Sannin spy network. I am confident he knows his information. The third stroked his beard in thought before smiling. Okay, Naruto. I'll give you a week to stake out and terminate Itachi Uchiha in Kikyo Pass. Your mission will start tomorrow, giving you a day to re-energize and resupply. Dismissed. Naruto along with Yugugo and the team scattered, each with their own agendas. Yukaina, yes father, you are finally ready. Aoshi smiled as he gazed at his 15-year-old daughter. Her sleek jet black hair was let loose and hung down to her low back. She wore a traditional black battle kimono with the kanji 4IWA on the back. Her aura was different from 3 weeks ago. Her power had truly blossomed. Yukaina beamed at the acknowledgement, proud of herself for her accomplishment. Bowing deeply, she rose slowly before settling in a serious expression, her eyes hard and unreadable. Thank you, father. I feel more than ready now to complete the mission you gave me 3 weeks ago. Aoshi smirked and reached into his desk and pulled out a black scroll. We recently acquired a rather incredible piece of information. It seems Naruto Namikaze will be in Kikyo Pass next week in order to assassinate Itachi Uchiha. You will go with a team of ANBU and wait for Naruto to engage Itachi. After the battle, take out the winner. Yukaina frowned before glaring at her father. Do you still believe I am inferior to him? My power has doubled since my ascension. I can do it. I do not wish to be regarded as the kunoichi who dishonorably defeated the Shinigami of Konoha. Do not be foolish, daughter. Aoshi adopted serious expression. While you are definitely stronger than ever, that man is something not of this world. Aoshi flinched as images of Naruto's emotionless face appeared in his mind. The man's eyes tell me more about him than anything. You will probably never be able to handle him alone, and quite frankly I hope you never do. Before Yukaina could retort, he continued. Do not question me, daughter. You will fight Namikaze, and I'm sure he will prove to be quite a fight even after Itachi. Yukaina sighed before nodding. 1 week then, Naruto Namikaze, you're a marked man. Naruto's footsteps were small. He took every step as if his boots were filled with cement. His shoulders were slouched, giving off the impression he was carrying something. He made sure to look at every single name on every tombstone as he walked through Konoha's cemetery. This was his pastime. His colleagues often commented on his hobby as a dishonoring to those who died. How wrong were they? This was all he could do. Even with all his power, the only thing he could do is walk through graves and memorize the names. The thousands of names that peppered the Konoha cemetery. He stopped in front one particular grave. Looking down, he read the epitaph. For those who know of this boy, he was an inspiration to all who listened to his innocent yet wise words. He was too young to be taken, but even in death he smiled. May his soul find peace in the stars above. Naruto looked up in the sky, his eyes taking on a new expression. The skies were cloudy. As the first signs of raindrops fell down, Naruto couldn't help it. He smiled. Not a smile of joy, but a cold, dead smile. I must burden this for just a little while longer. There is no need to rush. Just wait for me, okay? I'll come soon. Then I'll be complete. The rain poured harder and harder, gaining ferocity, as Naruto continued to stare at the tombstone before turning and continuing his trek. Itachi, what is so important that it garners a meeting of all the Akatsuki? Itachi stood straight on top of one of the fingers of the Geto Mesa. His peers, including the leader, unlike him, were merely holograms. But even so, the leader's eyes still gave him chills as they stared him down, demanding an answer. Well? What is it? Itachi's eyes locked onto the leader's rippled orbs. Leader-sama, I have found a way to capture the Ninetales within the week. Everyone stayed quiet, but their thoughts were racing. How? That man is too powerful and guarded. Kisame particularly decided to voice his thoughts. What are talking about, Itachi? I am your partner, and yet I know nothing of which you speak. Itachi inwardly smirked before continuing. I was alone when I found this out. I was in a tea shop when a loud IWA nin inadvertently gave me vital information concerning the QB host. You see, apparently after Namikaze tried to assassinate Yukaina, that Tsuchikage took it upon himself to teach Yukaina everything about their bloodline in an attempt to master her jutsu. Yes, Setsu already has informed us. Get on with it. I hate to wait, Sasori answered, swinging his tail. What you don't know, however, is that in 1 week, Yukaina, along with a team of ANBU, will track down Naruto while he's in a mission and try to eliminate him. Itachi allowed a pause for the information to sink in before continuing. That being said, I believe me and Kisame should intercept them while both parties are exhausted after their mortal combat, and take Naruto. Silence reigned throughout the cave as many thought of the luck of such an opportunity. The leader's eyes softened from their menacing gaze as he leveled a look of appreciation onto Itachi. Thank you for this, Itachi. This makes everything much easier. Now then, do you know where they will fight? Yes, after some investigation I deduced Naruto to be in a patrol mission in Kikyo Pass when the ambush will occur. I see, excellent. You are to then take Kisame and capture the Nine-Tails Itachi. Use the weak to prepare. With the fall of the strongest, the rest will come easily. Soon the hologram started to disappear until Itachi was left alone. I must say, Itachi-kun, I am most surprised you happen to have stumbled upon such important information. Itachi turned slightly to regard the growing shadow as it morphed into the visage of a man. Said man had short spiky black hair, along with the traditional Akatsuki robes, but what really set him apart was his orange spiraled mask with one eye hole. Yes, I dare say I was lucky to find such a discovery. Regardless, though, the information is inconceivably real, and so is our chance of capturing the Jinchuriki. The two stared at each other, sizing the other up, waiting for something to cause a clash until, well, Itachi-kun, I trust you. Do come back alive, though. It would unfortunate if I lost my apprentice. Just as quickly did he appear, the man left, and Itachi was alone once again. Well, now that was rather close. The future is unclear, but I think I like it like that. Without word, the weasel-like shinobi burst into a flock of ravens. 5 days later. Team Alpha, your mission is the Elimination 1 Itachi Uchiha. You are to report once you have confirmed a mission complete. However, Koharu and Hamura stood behind Danzo as he eyed Naruto Namake's ANBU team. Smirking, Danzo continued where he left off. If you happen to fail the mission and the target escapes, Team Alpha is to report immediately to the Konoha except for Team Leader Namake's. You will be given an excess mission. That mission being the destruction of IWA. Silence reigned over the council room as Yugogo, the rest of the team and even Naruto were caught off guard. Excuse me, Honorable Council. I do not understand. The destruction of IWA as a whole? You wish me to attack IWA itself? Yes, is that so hard to understand? We of the council, excluding the current Hokage, Sarutobi, and a few others, have concluded that is best course of action. Kikyo Pass is very close to the Konoha/IWA border, so you will begin an attack while the village will rally reinforcements for you to finally the war. Although Bor and Tora seemed jubilant from the statement, both Yugogo and Naruto shared a look of suspicion. Council, if I may be so daring, may I inquire as to why such a stratagem hasn't been implemented now of all times and not earlier, and does the Hokage know of this mission? Danzo stared deep into Yugogo as he assessed her threat level. She may need to go after the demon. Hamura filled in Danzo's silence without missing a beat. It is imperative the war ends soon. This is a last-ditch effort to truly end the war. We realize the danger we are putting you in, Namikaze-san, with this hand's mission. However, you are the only shinobi who can create a big enough distraction for our reinforcements to surprise the IWA and win the war. As to why now and if Sandame-sama, well, we have recently gained information from Lord Jiraiya that in one day both the Tsuchikage as well as his trusted ANBU members will be on a goodwill mission to Kumo. The biggest threat is Yukina Abunaga. Surely you can handle that? Right, Shinigami? Ignoring the barb, Naruto inwardly smirked. This by far is the best thing that could have happened. Naruto knew what the mission really was. It was a suicide mission. Not even Kages can hold off a great nation. Such foolishness. With this I am certain even if I am captured by Itachi I will not be saved. They no longer want me. Naruto suddenly frowned. They no longer wanted him. After everything, every completed mission, every assassination, every save for Konoha, they are actually throwing him away, not the other way around. I should be happy. In fact, this is great. I will realize my goal faster this way. But why is it I feel this empty feeling? Why am I feeling these feelings, thinking these thoughts? What is happening to me? Naruto actually had to hold himself from laughing openly. They actually had the last laugh. Not only did they use him like a slave, but they were the ones to wash their dirty hands of him, furthering his dishonor and humiliation. As if they couldn't do more to me, such corruption. One day I'll return. Then we'll see who has the last laugh. Konoha. Yugogo seemed to want to yell something, but Naruto's hand stopped her. Yugogo, it's okay, Honorable Council. We as a team accept the former mission and I accept the latter. Thank you for the honor. Naruto's visage was like a block of ice. His confusion, anger and sadness bottled up for another time. Before Danzo could speak, however, Naruto continued. However, I request to see Hokage-sama. Why isn't he here? The Hokage has business with the Fire Daimyo. To help organize in the invasion, you see. As he is not here, Danzo is the current Hokage in place. If you want his stamp of approval on the mission though, he was more than happy to stamp this before he left. Handing Naruto a document, Naruto looked it over and found it to be perfectly legitimate. I believe that this concludes your briefing. Team Alpha dismissed. It's finally time. Yukina and other ANBU stood by the village gates waiting for the Tsuchikage. Not one to be late, Aoshi appeared via Shunshin. All of you today are tasked with what can be the most historic mission in Iwa's history. Should you succeed, it would give our men enough moral and strength to persevere and win this war. I trust all of you. Do me proud. A chorus of Heights Tsuchikage-sama was heard before they turned and prepared to shunch into Kikyo Pass. Oh, and Yukina. Yukina turned around to see her father looking at her with a sneaky smile. My daughter, do try to not make a mess. Yukina's curious expression widened into a full grin as she beamed. No promises, father. I love you, Yukina, as I you, father. Without further delay at the Tsuchikage's hand signal, the team dispersed. Now then, onto to sweet talking the Reikage. Are you ready, Kisame? Yes, you seem unusually jumpy, Itachi. Are you anxious? Itachi eyed Kisame in a stoic look before looking forward. You could say so. It is not every day one will change the world. Naruto looked onto the valley before him. Kikyo Pass. One of the battlegrounds for the Third Great Shinobi War as well as a graveyard for hundreds of shinobi. The gorge was really a crack in a mountain, splitting said mountain in half. It was narrow, dangerous, and cramped. Good. Bor, Tora, spread out and make a perimeter. Hi Taicho. As they shined away, Yugogo was left as she stood behind Naruto in a crouch. What will you have me do, Taicho? Her question was received with silence. Growing annoyed, she raised her voice and asked again but received the same response. Getting up, she walked over to Naruto only to freeze as he turned around. You what? Quicker than a blink of eye, a fist found its way in Yugogo's gut. The power behind the hit was massive, and soon darkness was around the rims of her periphery. Why Naruto? He looked down at her, and witnessed the same expression. Pure, unyielding sadness. Words cannot describe my sorrow for doing this to you, my Yugogo. Please find it in your heart to one day forgive me, but this is one mission you cannot follow me on. Yugogo soon fell unconscious as a second Naruto poofed into existence and took. You know what to do. With a nod, the clone disappeared with Yugogo leaving Naruto alone. It is time. Naruto took a step forward. It is finally time. Itachi smirked under his kasa as he looked over the ravine with Kisame. It is finally time. Yukina stopped with her team on the entrance of Kikyo Pass. It is finally time. Aji-san. Naruto ran into an old man's outstretched arms, laughing as he tried to reach his small arms around the old warrior for a big hug. I see you've grown stronger than the last time you hugged me, Naruto-kun. I don't think I can breath. The blonde responded by a fit of giggles as he continued to cling on to the third Hokage. Aji-san, today is an important day. Do you know what it is? Of course, Naruto-kun. Happy 4th birthday. The grandfather figure reached inside his robes to pull out a scroll titled, To Naruto. Naruto's eyes closed as he gave the brightest smile he could give. Everything was so happy. As long as everything stayed like this, Taicho. Naruto abruptly stood up, his senses going into overdrive as realization of what he was doing sunk in. Report bore. Naruto's voice, even through a communication device, still brought chills into the ANBU. So much so the ANBU needed a few seconds to compose himself before reporting. Sir, there seems to be no movement at all by the West Ridge. All areas within a 100-meter radius are clear. Naruto processed what he heard before switching frequencies on his device and speaking again. Tora, I want a report of your surroundings. A moment later, Tora's voice rang through Naruto's ears. All clear, sir. Also, sir, I've tried to contact Nibi, but she's not responding. Naruto's stone face slightly cracked as he remembered what he had done to whom he regarded as one of his very few friends. You need not worry with her. I sent Kat on a different mission than reconnaissance. Keep your eyes open and report anything you see. A chorus of hi was heard before nothing. Naruto sighed as he perched on a cliff overlooking the north side of Kikyo Pass. To believe I actually was delving into my memories pathetic. He continued scouting the ridge, but his thoughts were glued on the same subject. Eventually he was once again sucked away into memories as he remembered all of the good times in Konoha and how they were taken away from in one vicious swoop. Why? Aji-san, please don't let this happen. Help. The old leader looked at the 4-year-old Naruto sadly as he bent to one knee, placing his hand on the blonde's shoulder. Sometimes one must do things they truly do not want to do, Naruto-kun. Please, I don't want this for you, but I have no choice. Naruto's eyes widened as he turned once again to stare in fear at the bandaged figure before him. It's good you remembered the accord, Sarutobi. Do not fret. This will perhaps be the best decision you ever made as Hokage. Sarutobi glared at Danzo in hatred as he slowly stood back up. I am still in power, so watch your tongue. I will be watching you, Danzo. If you abuse him, I'll kill you, that I will swear. The war hawk mostly kept his poker face, only allowing a small smile to form. I look forward to you honoring such a threat, Sarutobi. Do not test me. What happened with Orochimaru has taught me to strike any threat without mercy regardless of their affinity to me, old rival. The smirk adorned on Danzo's face evaporated before being replaced by a neutral gaze. I see, come then, Namake's work must be done. Naruto was once again thrown back into reality as an explosion rocked the ground, creating a small tremor. Bore report. An explosion was just seen and felt in your area. Naruto's order was left unanswered as static filled the transmission. Tora, are you with Bore? What's your location? Once again the sound of static was all that was audible in the radio. HN. Gathering his thoughts, Naruto rushed to the scene himself, bent on finding out what was the catalyst for the explosion. My, these guys were too easy, Itachi. I mean, you think the ANBU team of the Kyubi Jinchuriki would be a little more trained. Well, I guess all the talent is the captain's. HN. You are correct in your assumptions of his team save one member Kisame. Watch for the cat Anbu. You should watch for me instead. Both Akatsuki members tilted their heads upwards, their eyes now glued on to the visage of Naruto perched on a cliff. Naruto's attention, however, was on his downed comrades. So many missions, what am I feeling? Meeting Itachi's and Kisame's gaze, Naruto set an unreadable expression on his face before straightening up. It seems you two already are here. Well then, in the name of the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen as well as Konoha, I hereby sentence you to death. Not one for words, Hajujiriki, Kisame taunted. Kisame, stop acting foolish. You forget you or me alone cannot defeat him. We must approach him together, focused. Of course, you need not lecture me, Itachi. I, unlike you, however, wish to have a little fun with our prey. Without a word, Naruto immediately launched himself at the two rogues, initiating the first attack, punching Kisame in the face. The attack connected, propelling the swordsman back against the rock wall, leaving Itachi to fight the demon shinobi. Prepare yourself, Naruto-kun. Itachi struck low first by trying to sweep Naruto's feet, but the blonde nin jumped over it before roundhousing Itachi in the head. Itachi ducked only to find Naruto's other leg to be speeding to his position. Itachi crossed his arms and braced for impact. Not being disappointed, Itachi was flung away by the kick, the impact almost shattering his arms. He, like Kisame, hit the rock wall hard, causing a large amount of stones and debris to bury him and Kisame in a rock slide. How foolish. Perhaps you two should leave now if you want to play ninja. I am insulted. Naruto stood straight up. His arms crossed themselves as his black cloak flailed in the wind. Can't have that now, can we? Kisame's voice reached Naruto's ears from under the rubble. His tone lacked all playfulness, verifying his seriousness. No, we can't. So be it, Naruto. Right after Itachi said those words, the two Nukanin's chakra began to grow. Naruto started to smile as the clouds overhead moved right above their location. The chakra became so palpable it began to manifest as a swirling tornado around the mound of rocks Itachi and Kisame were in. The tornado reached all the way into the clouds before diving back down. When the chakra stream hit the ground, the resulting explosion rocked the ground and the entire canyon. Naruto's smile only grew as he stood his ground, debris flying all around him, his cloak now blowing widely behind him. As the dust cleared, Naruto saw two figures in the center of a 10-meter crater. Finally, test me, monster of the mist, demon of Konoha. With pleasure. Both nins replied. The battle had truly begun. This should be interesting, Captain? An Iwa-Anbu joked as he looked down on what could be the biggest battle of the age. Kisame was not supposed to be here. Regardless, keep your eyes on Namikaze's men. Even though those two are putting out massive chakra signals, his is much greater. Yakina hissed before resuming her watch on the fight from a distance. Live, Naruto, so I can kill you myself. Impressive chakra output, but not good enough. Naruto's made his hands into an X and exhaled. At first nothing happened, then the storm flashed above. Lightning struck all around the area as the heavens brought down hail and rain on the three powerhouses. A dark chakra seeped from Naruto. Its color indiscernible due to the sudden darkness, however, with a quick look from the Sharingan, Itachi discovered the color to be a royal blue or navy almost. Are you curious of why my chakra is so different, Itachi? Allow me to sate your curiosity. You see, this is my hybrid chakra. A mix really of mine and Kyuubi's chakra, packed with more killer intent and toxicity as any humans, however it is lower than Kyuubi's. If you two prove worthy, I may use his chakra. Your arrogance amuses me, fool. Itachi responded coldly, setting himself in a loose stance. As is yours, senpai. No more words, god damn it, you are going down. Kisame's war cry resounded throughout the canyon as he sprang forward from the crater, his sword on his left. He disappeared from sight only to reappear in front of Naruto. Swinging his blade as hard as he could, Kisame aimed for Naruto's right side to disable him. Waiting to hear the crunch of bone, Kisame instead could do nothing but remain speechless as Naruto blocked his sword a foot away from his body with the back of his arm. All the while Naruto's expression did not change as he continued to eye Itachi, completely ignoring Kisame. I believe I was still speaking to senpai, insect. Naruto vanished before Kisame's eyes before his eyes bulged out of his skull in pain, and he was projected in the ground. Without mercy, Naruto vanished again only to slam Kisame in the back with his knee. As Kisame struggled to get up, Naruto stood above him. He raised his hand parallel to the ground before a hidden blade jutted out from inside his cloak sleeve onto his hand. Before the killing blow was made, a hand grabbed Naruto's, and Naruto had to drop the blade to flip over as a kunai stabbed where his stomach once was. Not wasting a second, Itachi, whose hand still gripped Naruto's, swung Naruto away before starting a series of hand seals. Katan, Ryoka no Jutsu. A giant dragon emerged speeding towards the flying Naruto. Mizutoku shouted Naruto as an equally large water shield appeared from the air itself, dissipating the dragon. Naruto and Itachi both went into a series of hand seals while running side by side, Itachi on the ground and Naruto wall walking. Ibuki no Kazuryu shouted Naruto. Katan, Gokakyu no Jutsu, retorted Itachi. Kamaitachi no Jutsu, Jinrai no Jutsu. Enough, some no Amakakaru Ryo, growled Naruto. Your consistency with futon surprises me. It will only rush your undoing. Now Katan, Karya Enden. The canyon was soon raining boulders down on the running pair as their continuous attacks decimated the surroundings. One boulder almost hit Naruto, had he not summoned his sword to slice it twine. Now I will finish this, Kaze no Yaiba. Naruto black blade soon elongated into a wind sword, a range no less than 5 feet. I will humor you then, Yuendoken. Itachi no Dachi also lengthened with wind as the two warriors eyed each other before disappearing. The clash of ninjutsu forever marked the earth, as the wind blades slashed through the very canyon itself. Dust kicked up as a massive megalith slid from the canyon wall. Through the dust though a dark-haired figure wearing a black robe with red clouds and a blonde-haired figure in all black with a black trench stood backs to each other, still in their finishing sword katas. Suddenly the blonde started to chuckle. It was low but the other warrior seemed to have heard it. The chuckle escalated and soon it erupted in a mad laughter. Ahayatahaha senpai. The tides are changing. Your superiority to me has long since passed. Finally after all this time my greatest question has been answered. I am the strongest senpai and you know it. As if on cue Itachi went on one knee as a diagonal slash mark imprinted itself from Itachi's right shoulder all the way to his left side by his waist. Blood seeped into the earth as Itachi focused on staying conscious. Why you think you can take me, Naruto? I have shown you nothing. Neither have I. What? Naruto turned around to see Kisame. Or what could be Kisame? It seemed the man fused with his sword. He looked more shark than human. Naruto turned to Itachi again to see him gone. Over here, Naruto-kun. Naruto's eyes widened as he felt Itachi's chakra behind him. How are they so fast? I couldn't notice them. What is this? A kick to the back broke Naruto's musings as he was rocketed into the rock wall, breaking the outer surface of the wall and leaving an imprint of the blonde. Climbing out slowly, Naruto assessed the situation. I see now. The Manjikyu Sharingan. A boost you needed to surprise me. I'm getting tired of being ignored, child. Naruto glanced to his right to see Kisame, who was in his shark form. My apologies, Kisame-san, but senpai and I have a score to settle. Naruto's face betrayed nothing and Kisame soon found himself fidgeting under Naruto's dead gaze. Kisame, I realize we must work as a team, but I must see for myself which one of us is the better. Itachi's voice mirrored Naruto's in tone. Ha ha, they're like brothers. So be it. I will wait until you are finished with your fun. Naruto's eyes flashed as what seemed to be anxiousness. Come, Itachi-senpai. Show me why the Uchiha were feared. Now Naruto, you forget. Itachi smiled a grim smile before hardening. The Uchiha are still feared. No sooner had Itachi said that the two disappeared, the only indication that they were still within the vicinity was the occasional flash of two swords and a clang. Every punch the two warriors traded resulted in a small sonic boom. The first to stop his speed was Itachi as he stood clutching his head. So the eyes are getting to you? Should a ninjutsu battle suit you? Itachi snarled. Don't patronize me, Naruto. Amaterasu. A cloud of dark fire erupted from Itachi's right eye and headed towards Naruto, intending to melt the blonde. That's not enough. Raising his right hand towards the fire, Naruto muttered a seal before a black hole of sorts materialized on his hand. Fuja Fukahauen. Impossible. Itachi could only stare on in silent awe as the strongest flames to ever exist were sucked into Naruto's hand. I think it's time I stepped in. Naruto turned to regard the voice but was too late as he was hit with a 1,000 gallons of high-pressure water. He slammed against the wall and was unmoving, but Kisame would not take any chances. Itachi, find high ground, I'm turning this canyon into a river. HN. Itachi quickly composing himself before jumping up to look down the cliff as Kisame filled the canyon. Kisame smirked as he submerged himself in water with the Shinigami of Konoha. You cannot contend with me in this arena, boy. This is the ultimate setting for one of my skills. Naruto still had not responded since he was slammed into the wall, and for a moment Kisame thought the invincible shinobi would just drown. Such a thought was dashed though when Naruto suddenly jerked up, his hands already going through a series of hand seals. Kaminariha. A literal wave of lightning traveled at high speeds towards the shark shinobi. Fast Kisame swam away to the right, only getting nicked by the wave. The small hit was enough though as Kisame felt pain he never thought possible. Ah, what is this jutsu? I didn't even get directly hit yet. It's not over. Naruto appeared behind Kisame, bear hugging the knee. Chidori Nagashi. Kisame mouth opened as a silent scream escaped him. His pain subsided though as a different feeling invaded him. Rage. Why you be bastard, you dare hurt me in water? Enjoy this, boy. Teju sway no same. 100 water sharks appeared in the water before charging Naruto. Impressive, but this will not be enough. Naruto held both his hands out before his palms started to glow. Teju Rasengan Dangon. The sharks one by one were incinerated as Naruto launched tens of Rasengans at the sharks. Kisame grit his teeth underwater before smiling. I should have known, however, this is where your arrogance kills you. You have not breathed since we've been here. While that is very impressive, you will need to breath soon. This jutsu will finish you. San no erasure. Naruto watched as the blue water turned into a yellow-green color. Kisame smirked. This jutsu will turn all liquid into an acid. Do you understand now, Jinchuriki? Your skin is being corroded as we speak, and if you take a breath and the acid gets into your mouth, you're finished. Naruto closed his eyes to avoid blindness, but Kisame's comment caused Naruto to tilt his head at Kisame in what could to amount to curiosity. Kisame smiled knowing Naruto's unspoken question. Oh, if you think I would receive the same effects, you're wrong. The acid is actually made from my blood. Naruto's eyes clenched, wincing as his skin did feel highly agitated. He couldn't even defend himself as Kisame delivered a massive punch to Naruto's side before uppercutting Naruto in the chin. Expecting the 14-year-old to cry out in pain, Kisame was surprised to see Naruto's mouth still closed, his face set in extreme concentration. If you think you can mentally block what I'm going to do to you, you're wrong. I'll break your jaw and make you swallow my toxin. No, fool, and that is your final mistake. Naruto's eyes shot open, locking on to Kisame, but allowing the toxin to invade his pupil and blind him. Kisame would have made fun of this act had he not have been punched across the toxic river, slamming into the rock wall. Forming two Kage Bunshins, Naruto spread his arms wide, allowing his clones to make one of the most powerful combination jutsus in his arsenal. I will make you feel true power. Itachi squinted as he gazed at the murky water, trying to gauge what was happening. I must use the Sharingan. His eyes bled into red and Itachi clutched his head. However, his eyes widened at what he saw. Naruto seemed to have two objects, one in each hand, and both were emitting a massive amount of chakra. This is big. I must find higher ground. Jumping up to the top of the canyon, he spotted the IWA team on the other side of the canyon, observing the water like him. He scanned the group until his eyes caught one of importance. My, this will prove to be a problem. I know this girl will threaten Naruto's plan. I cannot allow that. Just as he was about to engage the IWA team, a rumbling originating from the water shook the surrounding area like a 10.0 earthquake. Kisame couldn't believe what he was seeing. This is impossible. The Yondaime himself couldn't do what you're doing with his element, never mind with multiple elements. How can you do this? Naruto's eyes were starting to burn away, but Kisame could still feel the demon's gaze on him. Slowly Naruto brought the Raisin Shuriken and the Karyuzengan together. Fusing the two elemental Raisingans instead of blowing up the fusion created an even bigger ball of energy. Kisame shook in fear. I must flee. The power that ball is emitting can kill me 10 times over. Taicho, what is this chakra? It's so powerful. Yukina's eyes were wide with awe. This is bad, we must retreat to a safer distance. He has never used this much chakra before. What about Itachi Taicho? He is not attacking, so we shall not either. Let's retreat. Then they felt it. Naruto suddenly flung the orb at Kisame. Halfway from reaching the missing nin Naruto's hand, he used to fling the ball clenched. The explosion that resulted was catastrophic. Like a nuclear bomb, a mushroom erected from the water high into the air. The IWA team and Itachi both were blown away. Itachi cracked his eyes open. He got up slowly. His body ached, but he disregarded the feeling to finding out what happened to Kisame's and Naruto's battle. Standing up, he surveyed his surroundings before realization struck him. Where is the canyon? A crater the size of Konoha itself lay in front of him. Naruto, you surprise me even now. Deidara would be so jealous. Coughing alerted him to the IWA team as they shakily stood up. Gauging their distance to be 20 meters from him, Itachi turned to find the two missing people. Itachi, help me. As if on cue, laying under a massive boulder was Kisame. He was worse for wear as his skin displayed multiple third-degree burns. Itachi kicked the rock off of him and helped Kisame up. But Itachi noticed Kisame's right leg to be fractured as well. He is done, it seems. Now I must contend with him. Debris suddenly scattered everywhere as a figure appeared. Itachi saw through the smoke and missed the man to be kneeling on one knee. Kisame, get up, we must finish this. Kisame was no longer fused with his sword as he separated with the sword to use it as a shield for the brunt of Naruto's blast. I don't know if I can be of any assistance, Itachi. I am a swordsman after all. If you two are tired, then why don't you take a rest? We'll kill you, be sure of that. But our real business is with the bastard over there. Both Itachi and Kisame turned to look at the IWA team, particularly the captain. So you come to avenge your constant losses and failures against Naruto, Yukina. Yukina growled as she glared into Itachi's cool glance. I will make you eat your words, Uchiha. For now, though, it's time for our mission, and if you interfere you will only die sooner. Today is the day he dies, she hissed. You know, I'm surprised, Kisame, no one has ever survived the Choshinsei. Not even entire villages. Very surprised indeed. However, Kyuubi gave me my eyes. All attention focused on Naruto as he continued to kneel, breathing hard. Yukina smiled as she looked at Naruto's battered form. So, you are human. I guess everyone has a limit. I must say, though, I expected a better performance from you, Namikaze. Naruto's hard breathing suddenly stopped. It seemed from his stiff posture he never noticed the IWA team. The air was too rich in chakra to notice anything. Naruto's mane of red blonde hair ruffled as he shakily stood on his 2 feet. All the while Yukina continued to lock on to Naruto, a fire in her dark orbs as she watched Naruto right himself. Naruto's breathing soon slowed into normal. Finally looking up, Naruto saw his greatest obstacle. So the tables have turned. How quaint, Yukina winced. The look Naruto was giving her was unnerving. Like always, he gave her his stony look, however this time she saw something else. Curiosity. Quickly remembering what Naruto said now, Yukaina smiled. Yes, I do believe so, demon. However, unlike you, the assassination I'm about to perform is for the good of the world. Monsters such as yourself, you have killed too many to continue existence. Yukaina bit back coldly, Naruto's head cocked to the side as if he was studying something he didn't understand. Who do you think you are, Yukina? Yukaina was startled by the question, not ready for it at all. Composing herself quickly, she stood straight with a look of determination on her face. I am Yukaina Abunaga, princess and protector of IWA. Naruto's eyes held mirth as he digested her answer. You are a fool. Yukina's face quickly turned red as she seethed in anger. What did you say? Naruto kept his demeanor and stood non-moving, staring the princess down. Must I repeat myself, fool girl? It is already quite pathetic you know not who you are. Yukina's hands squeezed together. He infuriates me. How can he stand there, with a straight face, after everything he's done? Who do you think I am then? A second later, Yukina's left ear was assaulted by the hot breath of the Jinchuriki. Why, a monster, of course. Yukaina turned, a blade in her arm as she swung to decapitate the blonde, but her blade meant nothing. Where is he? Up, no, left, right, down. Yukaina jumped up as Naruto ejected himself out of the ground on the same spot she occupied moments ago. Naruto met Yukaina in the air and a flurry of punches and kicks were traded. Naruto punched at Yukina's jaw, while Yukaina dodged, kicking Naruto in the stomach. Naruto parried the kick with a jab from his elbow to the knee. Yukaina cringed in pain as she closed her eyes for a moment from the pain. The moment was all Naruto needed as he grabbed her leg and threw her hard to the ground below. The ground shook and gave way as a crater 10 meters across was created with Yukaina in the epicenter. Is that all you have, Haim? I expected more. Yukaina quivered in rage, but suddenly smiled. You have yet to see me, Naruto. Prepare yourself for a most humiliating loss. Naruto's curiosity piqued. What could she have that could match me? His question was soon answered as Yukaina crossed her arms and black markings appeared all on her skin. Naruto stared in what could be described as a mixture of alarm and fascination as he recognized the markings. So you used gravity seals? Do you hate me so much you are willing to possibly shorten your life? Yukaina merely stared at Naruto, her eyes burning with hate. I would burn in the deepest hell if only it would mean your death. Naruto's head tilted downward. His red golden locks shadowed his eyes and expression. Yukaina barely heard it. It was soft, but it was growing. Is he laughing? Suddenly, as if answering Yukina's question, Naruto threw his head back and cackled. Ha 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 ha. Is this it? Is that all that you have to offer, girl? If you truly hate me, your power would be much more powerful. Come, girl, I will show you true hatred. Yukaina rocketed at supersonic speeds, determined to wipe the unnatural smirk off Naruto's face. They met in a fiery display of chakra as their blades clanged together. As they locked swords with only inches apart from each other, the two fighters separated. I have dealt with you enough. I am impressed by your strength, though. So much so I will show you one of my strongest jutsu. Naruto extended his hand to the side and his arm started to distort. The arm changed from an appendage to a deadly blade as chakra enveloped the arm. This girl, the strongest blade I can make. Feel honored to meet a variation of the Kamikaze no Yabia, Kaze no Yari. Yukaina grit her teeth and concentrated. In speeds unrivaled, she flew through hand seals, Tekai, Kyukyoku no Boi. Yukina's body hardened even further, giving her the appearance of a diamond statue. Show me your worst, it's time to settle this. Naruto crossed his blade around his chest before launching himself at Yukaina, intending to chop through her and her jutsu. Perish. Naruto swung at Yukaina as she stood still, waiting to see if her jutsu would hold. Naruto disappeared and reappeared behind Yukaina. The sound made Naruto smile. He had finally done it. True to what he heard, Yukaina gave a gasp before falling to her knees. There lay from her collarbone to her waist a cut from Naruto's blade. You are finished. Naruto turned his back on Yukaina and headed off to kill the rest of the IWA and BU until something caught his eye. What? Where is the rest of the IWA team? Did they abandon her? If you want to know about my team, they are in a safe location. What I'm about to do may change the scenery. Be honored, I will show my best jutsu, something my father couldn't master. Naruto's face held shock as his head turned around to see Yukina's fist driving into his skull. Gorima no Kurushimi. Naruto's face contorted against Yukina's blow. The force was unreal. Even Tsunade's strength rivaled this power. The blonde was slammed into the ground as the earth parted quickly to allow further penetration. Yukaina pulled her hand back to look at her handiwork before her hand lit in chakra once more. Gorima no Finisha, Argak. Naruto spit out a glob of blood as her fist impacted his stomach. She jumped back and Naruto immediately flipped himself onto his stomach on his hands and knees as he coughed and threw up blood. Darkness spread as Naruto tried to cling to consciousness, but to no avail, he slumped over. Yukaina sighed in exhaustion. She started to fall until a hand stopped her from her descent. She turned to see her team, shining in admiration for her victory. Her victory over him. To think such a girl had the strength to bring you down. What a change of developments. This body is weak. I should have trained my body more. Now everything is ruined. My work and my dream. There's is one option for you left. I refuse. I do not feel the need for such drastic change. The Kyuubi chuckled before crossing his paws and leveling a stare on Naruto. Do not be foolish. Remember what humans have done to you. Do you truly want to still be a part of them? Do you not wish to cut your shackles once and for all and be free of this cage of human servitude? Kyuubi's voice resonated throughout the room as silence met the question. Naruto opened his mouth to retort until memories once again plagued his mind. The words, the harshness, and the punishments. He was already inhuman. Now his one chance to change the world for the better is slipping away because of that girl. That girl, my plan was perfect, she has ruined everything. All my plans, all my dreams. No, I can't let her. I will not let her. Hey Gigi? Yes, Naruto-kun? Can I ever achieve my dreams? Of course, Naruto. If you are strong enough, with the right motivation, everything you desire can be yours. Many people have the drive, but not many people have the strength to mark the world. I can see it in you, Naruto. You hold much strength. You will mark this world, one way or another. Getting up slowly, Naruto's headband untied and fell from his face. Time seemed to stop as the headband continued its descent to the ground. Naruto seemed to not care as his head remained down, his golden locks now casting a shadow over his eyes. As the wind blew, Itachi's now Manjikyu Sharingan met Naruto's. Kisame, what is it? We must retreat. What the fuck are you talking about? This is different. My eyes locked onto his. Every fiber of my being is screaming to run. What? You're scared? That pre-post. Kisame's retort was interrupted as a massive chakra erupted from Naruto. The chakra rose up to the sky and expanded. It was as if it was a mist. It was everywhere. Itachi looked around before wincing as his skin suddenly felt irritated. One look from his Sharingan gave him the answer. My god. Itachi's voice was subdued and faint, but Kisame caught it. What now? The power, how is this even possible? What is he? Kisame's eyes widened exponentially as he gauged Itachi's reaction. I've never seen him like this. What the fuck is happening? Itachi, what is this? Tell me now. He's manipulating this mist-like substance that's covering Kikyo Pass. Inside this cloud is a toxin that's corroding the skin on our bodies slowly. Kisame's eyes widened. That's like my attack. Did he really learn it from experiencing it? No matter though. A mist I can handle, Itachi. Do you really think a water-based attack is something to be afraid of, especially since I'm here? Itachi remained frozen though, causing Kisame to narrow his eyes. Kisame, this is not a mist. This toxin, this is his chakra. Kisame's eyes bulged as he digested this. That means his chakra levels are. I've never seen this before from anyone. He's like a bijou on his own. We can't handle this. A laugh soon rang around them. It was a dark, deep baritone laugh. Yet it was cold, and evil as well. He mhm. You have pushed me too far, perhaps I underestimated you. No matter. I will deal with you, bitch, and your group. Now, allow me to show you a state I have never once before gone to. It is rather inhuman. Itachi's eyes widened as he understood what Naruto meant. So you really did it. You're a real demon now. Naruto turned to the IWA-ANBU, his eyes now closed. Prepare yourselves. I will not allow you to ruin all I have built. No one has even seen me, never mind survived me in this state. Naruto suddenly threw his arms back and yelled as 9 tails sprouted from his back. Opening his eyes, he leveled a stare at the IWA team. Yakaina could not help but back away as 2 angry fox-like blood-red eyes glared at her. Now then, let us begin. Naruto lunged at the group. He disappeared mid-flight and appeared behind the 6-man ANBU force, skewering 1 man on his hand. Hawk! Shouted Yakaina before needing to duck under a swing. Initiate pattern Delta now. The 5 remaining IWA Nins surrounded Naruto in a pentagon formation before simultaneously making the same hand seals. Gogia Fuin! All of them shouted at once. The ground formed a glowing pentagon before it began spinning, closing in on Naruto, who stood patiently with a look of boredom on his face. Ignoring his look, Yakaina grinned as the seal completed itself, sealing all foreign chakra from the opponent. Kyuubi cannot help you now, Namikaze. Finally you can answer to your crimes. Yakaina laughed out as steam came off of the demonic blonde. Yakaina continued to laugh until her laughter was met with a dark chuckle. Ehehehe. Who said I was using Kyuubi's chakra? Yukina's eyes bulged as she struggled to process what she heard. That makes no sense. That would mean this demonic energy is yours. As she finished her sentence, she realized what she was dealing with. Sensing Yukina's realization, Naruto decided to voice it. Yes, Yakaina, I turned into a demon. A half-demon or Hanayo. Either way, I am something more than any human alive. Yakaina bit back in disgust. Why? Why would you willingly make yourself into a monster? Naruto's eyes averted downwards as painful memories started to flood his mind. He looked up once again, meeting Yukina's glare, matching it with a glare of his own. One such as you should not ask such questions, Haim of IWA. You cannot pass judgment on one like yourself. Yakaina recoiled and scoffed. How dare you compare me to you? You, a miserable soulless demon, and I, one who fights to end war and bring peace to the world of ninjas. Yukina's comment was met with silence, and she silently congratulated herself for putting the Namikaze in his place. However, as she saw her opponent's face contort from a stony look to rage, she questioned her choice. What do you know of me? I've had enough of this talk. I have had enough of you. I'm going to kill you, Yakaina Abinaga. He launched himself at her for the first time with emotion, snarling as he swung his arm towards Yakaina. Yakaina was shocked at the first reaction from the blonde, but was quick to flip over the swing. Her teammates backed away, but Naruto's hand formed a chakra cloak and used it to launch a secondary swing. This time not all of the ANBU escaped as one was captured in Naruto's grasp. The blonde glanced at his squirming catch before squelching his hand and watching his chakra hand squeeze the life of the nin. Turning to the now four-man squad, he spread his legs and started to gather chakra. After accumulating a large amount of chakra, Naruto all at once shot the chakra through pores on his body. As they quickly formed floating bubbles of chakra in the air, the bubbles suddenly started to compress and form together until the now purple ball of chakra was small enough to eat. Opening his mouth, Naruto swallowed the ball before expanding. Groaning, Naruto got on his hands and knees before locking onto Yakaina and the others. With a mighty roar, he launched his attack. This is going to be big. Such concentrated chakra can definitely kill us. Stand back. Going through a set of hand seals, Yakaina slammed her hands to the ground before a humongous slab of stone, a football field long and a football field wide, erected from the ground in front of the group. The block did not stand strong long though, as the Akakusuri yo na Bora hit the rock, resulting in a shockwave so massive it sent all the other IWA ANBU as well as Kisame to their knees. From the debris, Naruto rushed Yakaina, drawing his sword out of his cloak's sleeve. Yakaina obliged by summoning her own 2 swords before engaging Naruto in a kenjutsu battle. Your skills are not enough, girl. You're too predictable. Yakaina snarled and lunged at Naruto, foregoing her swords and tackling him. Naruto smirked as he stood his place. My, how the strong fall so far. You are truly pitiful. Speak for yourself. Rock soon engulfed himself and Yakaina, and he realized what Yakaina was doing. So you plan on taking the battle underground, huh? That's why you lured me into the quicksand here? Okay, I'll humor you. Even though they both were stuck in the quicksand, they gave each other no time to recover as they fought taijutsu. Since their feet couldn't move though, the fight soon became a slugging match with the winner the one who took the most hits. The quicksand gave way and Yakaina and Naruto landed away from each other, panting from exhaustion. Naruto began to laugh. His laughter soon grew and Yakaina became enraged. What is so funny? Naruto didn't stop laughing, however. Shut up! Yakaina screamed out, putting all her killer intent into her words. Slowly Naruto stopped laughing before looking at Yakaina. Your skills have dulled, girl. I have merely been playing with you the entire time. I must say I thought you would get stronger after the beating I gave you a month ago. I guess you don't value your life as much as I guessed. Yakaina didn't answer but rather closed her eyes and focused. A moment later she was encased in diamond. Opening her eyes, she inspected her diamond body before looking at Naruto, who was growling at the new challenge. Getting into stance, Yakaina ushered the blonde to come. Our fight has only just begun, and don't think I haven't learned any new tricks, demon. They both disappeared and a flurry of punches and kicks impacted, their power reverberating across the walls of the cavern they fought in. Naruto ducked under Yukina's jab and managed multiple hits since Yukina's speed dropped because of the diamond. To no avail, Yukina's juggernaut form withstood Naruto's assault only to launch her own one-hit landing on Naruto. Naruto slammed into the ceiling wall, his body stuck onto the rock wall as he cringed in pain. Landing on his feet, Naruto studied his opponent. Her eyes were different. Ultimate confidence. Was there something he did not know that she did? Remembering his dream, Naruto's chakra spiked to unbelievable levels and ripples of dark crimson chakra oozed from Naruto, eventually forming a tornado of chakra. I applaud you, no one has done this to me before. You are a master of your bloodline. However, I am the master of an ageless bijou. I will show you the extent of my power. If you have any inclination to live, then I suggest you make this attack your strongest one as well. Yakaina smiled in anticipation before beckoning Naruto to come. Let us end this for real then. Our best and strongest attack. Come, my greatest foe. Show me why some call you immortal. With pleasure. Naruto grit his teeth as his hand started to glow an ominous gold. The hand was soon engulfed by the light color before it was tainted as the palm of Naruto's hand dyed a deep black. Akuma Wayasi, Shurikei Senkaku. Naruto's muscles clenched and tightened as the blonde struggled to maintain the jutsu. Suddenly 20 feet around Naruto was impacted and a 5-foot crater formed around the blonde. It was as if God's fist punched the Shinigami of Konoha. As the dust lifted, Yakaina saw Naruto's hunched figure. There on his hand was a pitch-black orb. It looked evil and tainted from the aura it was surrounded with. Haim, prepare yourself. Naruto took off like a bullet, speeding towards Yakaina. His eyes locked on to Yakaina like a predator to his prey. As Yakaina watched her doom approach, she closed her eyes and placed both of her hands down on the ground. Chakra gathered on her feet, and soon a torrent of power resonated in the earth. It is too late, Yakaina. I win. Naruto plunged the orb in Yukina's diamond-plated chest. The explosion rocked the earth. The cavern lighted up in fire and power before everything incinerated. Kikyo Pass was no more, as all that remained of the once gigantic canyon was level ground and craters as far as the eye could see. Among the rubble there was an explosion before a skeletal figure made of chakra emerged. Inside the figure, Itachi and Kisame stood, both weathered and exhausted. Surveying the land, they both traded glances, their thoughts completely different. Had it not been for Susanoo, Naruto, please be okay. Fuck this shit. Likewise, 100 meters away, a single IWA and BU emerged worse for wear. He knew he shouldn't have been alive. At the last moment, the Fuku Taicho sacrificed his life for him and buried him as the explosion destroyed everything. I must report to the Tsuchikage at all costs. First, though, I must find Yukina-sama. As if on cue, a sound alerted both the Akatsuki and the IWA Nin, and both took off toward the disturbance. As they reached the sound, they found the largest crater. In the epicenter were Yukina and Naruto. Naruto was standing before a coughing Yukina as she struggled to her hands and knees. Naruto's hand he had used for the jutsu was nothing more than bone and ripped flesh. He disregarded the hindrance, though, to instead focus on his opponent. Yukina had received massive wounds. Burns racked her body, as well as multiple fractures in various places of her body, particularly the chest. Her most vicious wound was the hole where her left lung used to be. Naruto continued to watch the princess as she coughed torrents of blood. Despite what he had said earlier, Naruto felt no satisfaction in this. Rather, there was an inner loathing in him for what he had done. He winced as she fell on her face again after the fourth try to stand. It's over. Naruto started. Perhaps if you yield now, I will allow your teammate to rescue you, pitiful girl. This only made Yukina laugh. Her strangled cackle confused Naruto until he heard her explanation. You're foolish. When I said this is the end, I meant it. You showed me your best move, now I will show you mine. Kinshir Gaijutsu, Terrafoma, Kozo Shitatsu. A rumbling from beneath both Naruto's and Yukina's feet began as a tremor rocked the earth. What have you done? Naruto struggled to stand as exhaustion started to take its toll on him. It's quite simple, really. My greatest technique is a forbidden jutsu handed down from one Abunaga to the next when the predecessor of the jutsu deems the successor ready. Father gave this jutsu to me for the sole purpose of using it to destroy you, demon. Even with this hole on my breast, I am filled with excitement, as the world will soon be rid of the demon that is Naruto Namikaze. Naruto tried to run, but his body gave out as he fell to the ground, and all he could was wait for the inevitable. What is this? I don't understand how you are affecting the earth so much. The jutsu I used is designed to make two tectonic plates in the crust of the earth collide. This results in complete destruction. Global power. This area will be a supervolcano, and it will take all of us down. Naruto stared into the scarred land with a hollow look as he contemplated the situation. To think there can be such a jutsu to use the earth itself, such power. Who am I to play God when there was such a ninjutsu in my enemy's hands? How foolish. I truly believed I could finally achieve happiness. Memories flooded Naruto's mind as his life flashed before him. He had a choice. He had never given up, from taking the council's every command to fighting and killing since he was a toddler. I will not die this way. Naruto glanced up at Itachi and their eyes met. Go, my friend. Itachi nodded to his best friend before turning to Kisame. We leave. Right. The two disappeared via Shunshin. After the IWA and BU assessed the situation, he realized there was nothing he could do and resolved himself to live to report everything. His Shunshin brought Naruto and Yukina all alone as magma started seep from the ground. Yukina smiled as blood leaked from her mouth. I die an honorable death. With my greatest enemy. I will not accept this. I will not. I will not. Naruto screamed as power flooded his chakra coils. He knew he could not Shunshin. His view was distorted since he was in the crater, and he only had one shot left. With a massive yell, the ground erupted in crackling. Naruto continued to scream as the ground shook even more. I will live! The image of the demon fox appeared behind Naruto, as he brought his hands to his pouch for a Hiraishin kunai. Yukina's eyes widened as she realized what would happen. She forced herself up on willpower alone as the earth cracked and separated, showing the soon-to-be volcano. She jumped and latched onto Naruto just as he launched the kunai randomly. No, you fool, you see. Both Naruto and Yukina disappeared just on time as the volcano erupted, showering the entire area in magma. I'm so sorry, Tsuchikage-sama. Naruto Namikaze has been eliminated, but so has your daughter. I am the sole survivor. Aoshi's eyes grew as he tried to digest the tragedy. How did she die? She died of the most admirable death, as she activated the forbidden jutsu, and trapped herself, and the Namikaze in the eye of the volcano. Despite the situation, Aoshi smiled as tears slid past his face. You always knew how to leave your mark, Yuki-chan. Rest well. Now it is up to me to finish this. What? Yes, I saw it all with my own two eyes. Naruto Namikaze and Yukina Abunaga are both dead. His clones took me somewhere safe, but tied me up so I wouldn't interfere. When they disappeared, I knew he had died. Sarutobi, Koharu, and Hamura stared on as Yugogo explained as Konoha's greatest asset and soldier was destroyed. I never thought anything could kill him, while at least he died bringing the Abunaga heir down. Let us use this to our advantage. Koharu didn't miss a beat as she proceeded to brush Naruto's demise away. Sarutobi looked distraught but kept silent as he stared on, silently grieving. Hamura, however, agreed with Koharu, and the two started to discuss strategy. Yugogo couldn't take it. She ran out of the room as hatred filled her heart from the elder's lack of care for Naruto. This will end. I will avenge your death, Naruto-kun. I know just who to talk to as well. You fools, the Kyuubi Jinchuriki is dead? There was nothing we can do. Those two were too powerful for us. It was as if we were genin again with them being Kages. Even you would have D. Kisame was cut short as a hand shot through his chest and out the other side. Kisame's eyes widened before Pain ripped his hand out of Kisame and watched as he died. As Pain turned to Itachi, said man immediately averted his eyes from the Rinnegan. Itachi, you will teamed up with Deidara. Sasori will work on our information department fully with Setsu. No more mistakes. We can only pray the Kyuubi manifests itself again into the world soon. After excusing himself, Itachi stood outside the hideout. It was raining hard as Itachi stared up at the clouds. You know, you may be a bastard who killed his family and has no taste for art, but from my view it looks like you're crying on. Itachi turned to Deidara slowly. Silence, fool. And by the way, the Kyuubi Jinchuriki made an explosion so big it doubled your self-portrait, you pseudo-artist. Deep in an unknown cave a figure awoke. Ah, my head, wait. Naruto's mind went into overdrive as he realized what this meant. He was alive. The Hiration somehow worked. He was alive, but that must mean he quickly looked around and soon his eyes spotted her. There on the ground unconscious was his worst enemy, a person who single-handedly ruined everything he had planned. A woman he both respected and hated above all. The princess of Iwa. Yukaina Abunaga. Naruto continued to stare at the motionless figure before him. Long jet black, wavy hair covered her face from the Namake's view. However, what he could discern from the girl was she was Yukaina. So she actually traveled with me? The council made me test this theory, and it revealed that all normal shinobi without extreme chakra control or outside influence via Bijou cannot take the strain. They would turn inside out in the teleportation. Naruto looked on at Yukaina in a new light as he comprehended the concentration she needed to stay conscious and focus as she traveled light speed. To think you stayed on even after the first Hiration I did was excellent, but to think you stayed on full flight is quite remarkable. Flashback. What no, you stupid girl. Naruto and Yukaina were both teleported upwards towards the hurled kunai. As they reappeared, they gazed beneath them to find the entire area was covered in magma. Damn it. Looking around his shoulder, Naruto and Yukaina both locked on each other. Foolish girl, tried to cling to life, but I highly doubt you can stay on me. As if I will die and let you live, monster. Yukaina choked back as she coughed blood. Suddenly the supervolcano below erupted a second time, throwing hot boulders upwards towards them. Naruto brought out a whole array of three-pronged kunai. Using quick bursts from the Hiration he avoided the meteors, all the while fighting to keep consciousness from lack of blood. They soon headed towards the ground to their inevitable deaths. This cannot end. Naruto shouted as he finished his last kunai, trying to prevent the inevitable landing. Yukaina simply smiled as she realized with this it was over, and with this man's death, peace between the elemental nations can be accomplished. That was when she saw it. The soot and heat obscured her vision, but she witnessed what she thought should have been impossible as clearly as she ever seen anything. The creature she clung to as they both fell to their death. The demon who she both hated and feared the most. The monster who she had trained all her life to defeat. The being who was destined to be her nemesis. A force of nature seemingly unbreakable now was shedding silent tears as he stared at the rapidly approaching ground. What? She could not tell if he knew she was watching her. His face and expression, it was something she had only recalled once. So I wasn't imaging back then before my father intervened, was I? His face was so vulnerable. So unguarded, so normal. The Shinigami of Konoha was indeed a man. In a moment Yukaina would later remark as one of the most selfish moments in her life. The princess of Iwa focused chakra and encased both Naruto and herself in diamond. The impact was immense, and the diamond plunged deep in the earth, with both Naruto and Yukaina losing consciousness inside the diamond, the latter's thoughts ending on the man next to her. What are you truly, Namake's? Naruto turned back to regard the princess a few feet away. She must have released the barrier when she lost consciousness. He tried to stand up, but needed to bite back a yelp when a pain like he had never felt in his life erupted in his leg. Looking down, he spotted the problem. A stalagmite the size of a spear was lodged in his thigh. Without any hesitation he broke the stalagmite off and got up to his feet, ignoring the indescribable pain. He slowly limped towards Yukaina. Kneeling next to her he brushed the hair covering her face aside, finding her face, covered in soot and dirt yet still holding an angelic feature. Seemingly just then realizing who she was, he steeled his resolve, and his hands slowly began to descend to her open neck. Just as his hand rested on her neck he paused. What? Naruto's face scrunched up in a frown as he tried to strangle the girl's neck. Why can't I do this? His question resonated throughout the walls of the cavern, and he looked back at her, this time seemingly staring through her, and into the Iwa Nin's soul. After a minute of hiatus Naruto cocked his hand back to his side and got up to sit a few feet away. Sitting cross-legged Naruto focused what he could of his chakra, and soon found himself in his mindscape. Naruto stared into the fiery depths of the Kyuubi no Kitsune as said fox-eyed him, a frown evident on his face. I believe you wish for me to explain myself, correct? Kyuubi in turn growled before scowling. Yes, I want to know why the girl still breathes. You have an ample opportunity, and you are squandering it. She has indeed grown too powerful. To think she could contend with you while you were in Hanyu form is unsettling. Naruto could only nod as memories from his battle with Yakaina flooded his mind. She is a mortal girl yet so powerful. She can prove to be a serious problem for us if not killed now. Naruto nodded again before a grim expression marred his face. I know what I must do, but I cannot do the deed. She saved my life. Surely you know that no one has ever even attempted to, never mind done such an act of kindness. I have a debt to pay. I will pay it by sparing her until I get to Konoha, then I will have my peace. Kyuubi once again eyed Naruto, this time curiosity dominating his features. I see. You are a demon in nature or at least instinctually now. Your pride can't let go that this mere human, who has sworn to kill you all her life, just did more, in one act, than your entire village combined save 3, have ever done to help you. Ha ha ha, yes even I am curious now why she allowed you to live. Kyuubi smirked at Naruto, an array of razor-sharp teeth showing as his smirk widened. Before we part know it will take time for you to recover, so be on guard that girl doesn't change her mind about you living when she awakes. Also know that you have your matured demon chakra now flowing through you permanently. It is not my chakra and thus not crimson in color. You'll see when you use it. The kitsune continued to lock eyes on Naruto in silence, as if contemplating something. One more thing, you are still invariably human in a sense even though you have ascended. Don't grow attached to her or it can prove to be a problem. Now it was Naruto's turn to chuckle as he looked up at the fox, his eyes unflinching. You need not concern yourself with any such possibility. I will pay this debt, but the next time I cross paths with her, she will die. Kyuubi nodded before turning away, signaling Naruto to leave. Naruto awoke to find Yakaina still sleeping. He looked at her closely before spotting the wound he gave to her left lung. She will die if that is not taken care of. Slowly Naruto raised his arm and pointed his palm at Yakaina before a black chakra exuded from his hand floating towards Yakaina, enveloping her. Nodding in satisfaction he closed his eyes and fell asleep as well. It is your mission to eliminate Naruto, Namikaze and Kikyo Pass. The visage of Aoshi Abunaga appeared as he smiled down at her. I know you can do it, Yuki-chan, I have faith in you. Yuki-chan. Yakaina sat up straight as sweat coated her face and body. Her impromptu move however caught up to her, and she groaned as her wounds stung her. She looked to her shoulder to inspect her impaled shoulder only to find her wound closed. What is this? How can this be? Her question was answered as her ears heard a disturbance to her left. There, with his back against the wall lay a person who can arguably be the most feared man on earth. But what about before this? Suddenly bits and pieces of her battle and both her and Naruto's escape from death came to her. She bit her lip as she realized because of her Naruto Namikaze is still alive. Fire ignited in her eyes as she resolved herself to finish what she should have done. Getting up cautiously as to not awaken the sleeping ninja, Yakaina reached for her kunai pouch only to find it missing. Cursing she stalked closer to her prey. Now only a few feet away her hand edged closer to Naruto's neck. Swallowing hard, Yakaina stopped midway as she remembered Naruto just before they hit the ground. Are you really human? She whispered to herself as her hand stayed in place. Unfortunately so. Yakaina gasped as Naruto's eyes sprang to life and stared at Yakaina. Why you air? Yakaina lunged for Naruto, her hands gripping his neck as his hands grabbed hers. Naruto slid off the wall and on his back as Yakaina toppled onto him, straddling his hips. Hardening her fingers with rocks, she continued her assault as Naruto fought for air. How were my reflexes not fast enough to grab her? Why can't I push her off? Am I really so weak from the battle? Perhaps I should not have given her so much Yukai to heal her. I must stop this. Naruto distinctly heard laughing but pushed it aside as he struggled to fight Yakaina off of him. Yakaina herself was surprised by her upper hand but gave no indication of it as she pushed down again, her fingers hardening further. You can do anything you want, Naruto. You can have anything you want. Become as strong as your father, and you can change this world. Adrenaline pumped into Naruto as he gave a yell before raising his legs and locked them around Yukina's neck and threw her off of him, slamming her into the ground. Ack. Yukina's head slammed into the ground and she lay sprawled out in a daze. Suddenly Naruto appeared next to her, kneeling. Are you quite done? Fool girl. Yakaina pushed herself up with a snarl before slapping her hand on the ground, creating ripples in the earth, unbalancing Naruto. Taking the opportunity, Yakaina lunged once again, but unlike last time, Naruto interlocked his hands into hers, preventing another chokehold. The two rolled around as Yakaina would try to gain dominance only for Naruto to swipe it from her. Finally the small skirmish ended as Naruto pinned Yakaina down on her back. His hands, which were still interlaced with Yukina's, were brought over her head and Naruto straddled her tightly to prevent her from moving. Both fighters were panting from the exertion of the brawl, but they both glared into each other's eyes. Naruto's icy depths met Yukina's fiery orbs in a battle for dominance. As if they suddenly realized both were half naked from their fight as well as in a rather intimate position, both turned away from each other uncomfortable. However, Naruto did not relent his dominance. Do you yield? I will never yield to you. Do what you will. My only regret is that I could have killed you. Yakaina closed her eyes and waited for her death. She inwardly blushed at the position she was, though. She had longed for such a feeling, but not in such context or with her archenemy. She was surprised yet again when she felt the pressure from her hands and waist lessen. Opening her eyes, Yakaina saw Naruto away from her sitting upright and nursing his neck. Scowling, she turned to address him. Why are you letting me live? I thought you wanted to kill me. You sure expressed that in our fight in Kikyo Pass. She grew angry as silence filled the room. Hey you bastard. You think you can take me prisoner, right? That's why you healed my chest wound and have not killed me. At least tell me that. Once again she was rewarded with silence. Just as she was about to yell, Naruto raised his head to glance at her. You wish to know why I spared you, right? The answer is simple. I have a debt to pay to you for saving my life. I don't know why you did it, nor do I care. All I know is I'm alive because of you. For that I healed you and will not touch you until I reach Konoha. Then my debt will be paid and I will kill you. Yakaina stood shocked at his answer. What? Yukina's throat was dry as she tried to say more but she couldn't muster it. I don't want to repeat myself, girl. I will not hurt you or try to capture you until I return to Konoha. His words finally seemed to click with Yakaina as she snapped out of her daze only to see Naruto pulling up the legs of his pants to reveal a seal on both his ankles. Taking blood from one of his many wounds, Naruto swiped the seal and a black cloak appeared. Naruto covered himself with the coat as he was bare-chested. He repeated the process with the other ankle and a few ration bars appeared. Eat so you can gain your strength back home. And why would you care if I eat or not? Because it is my duty to fulfill my debt. You realize if you let your guard down once that will be all I need to kill you. Naruto stopped his actions and fixed Yakaina a bored stare. You may try, however I advise you don't. The exertion will be detrimental to your health. Besides, I assure you that your attempts on my life are futile. Yakaina seethed at Naruto, his eyes continuing their look of nonchalance. He didn't worry about her killing him. She was not a problem. Not a concern. She broke eye contact and brought her head down to stare at her hands. Do you truly believe me so insignificant, so weak as to not be a threat to you? Naruto's eyes widened slightly as the usually strong-minded girl began to question herself. I realize you battled Itachi and Kisame before me, but did all my work and all my toil, did it really amount to nothing against you in the end? Her hands soon became wet. She regarded her tears in silence and continued to look down, her resolve deteriorating. Suddenly Yakaina jerked her head up and looked upon the disgruntled Naruto in desperation. How can you do it? How can you be so powerful? You are younger than me and yet no one on this earth does not know of your infamy. IWA ninja always chalk up your power because of Kyuubi, but I know better. I've fought you enough to know you can still be the best without the Bijuu's power. Naruto eyed the girl before crossing his legs and putting his hands on his thighs. Your foolishness continues to amuse me, girl. And why is that? Yakaina countered. Why can't I beat you or even phase you? More importantly, why am I so amusing? The IWA princess bellowed, her voice echoing off the walls. Naruto started to chuckle. The day you beat me, girl, is the day you should never wish for. Yakaina was prepared to yell a reply, but was startled by the calm response and lowered her voice. And why is that? Naruto closed his eyes before opening them, his blood-red orb shined at Yakaina. They were his true eyes now. The day you defeat me, girl, is the day you forsake humanity and transcend into darkness. Naruto's face broke into a small smirk. The day you beat me, you will realize that you are everything you hated and fought against, because you yourself will have turned into a monster. Why have you come, Yuzuki-san? I am in need of your services. I have a plan I think you will be very interested in. Oh. The figure was obstructed from vision as it clung to the shadows of the underground base. Yugogo kneeled a few feet away, her eyes focused but in disarray. She slowly rises, her eyes locked onto the figure in front of her. The upper branches of the mighty tree have rotted by an infection, and it must fall upon the roots to isolate and eliminate. The figure stood straighter. A sound of a cane hitting the ground was heard as the figure walked into the light. Yugogo stood in attention and gave the now identified man a scroll. They have done it. They have crossed the line and have injured the village because of their foolishness. They must die. I will try to kill them, but I will fail alone. I need you, Danzo. Clouds gathered above the mountain range as a nest of people settled on the summit of the largest mountain in IWA. Their purpose regarded the stone tablet being carried by the Tsuchikage himself. The stone was engraved in runes and designs, centering around the main image, which was a picture of a young woman. She was dark-haired and very beautiful, her smile showing happiness. A feature no one in this gathering mirrored. We have gathered today to commemorate a magnificent ally, friend, hero and daughter. Aoshi's image was set in a morbid shade of gray. His body quaked as he laid the stone on the peak of the mountain and stepped back. Turning to address the crowd, he continued, My daughter Yakaina did not just love our village IWA, she embodied it. Her actions were always toward the goodwill of the village. Even in her last minutes she persevered to eliminate a very formidable foe. A foe we know as the Shinigami of Konoha, Naruto Namikaze. Looking back at the tomb, Aoshi smiled. She has given us hope once again. Now that Namikaze is no more, there can be a chance to succeed. Her death was not in vain. We must unite now, more than ever, and defeat Konoha. Not only for my daughter, but for all those lost in this bloodshed. Now who is with me? A roar resounded throughout the mountain range. The hundreds of IWA inhabitants, both ninja and civilian, raised their arms in salute. Rise IWA! If the situation wasn't so grim, Aoshi could have smiled at the display. He resolved himself and headed down the mountain. There was work to be done. He would avenge his daughter. This war will end. One way or the other. Two figures walked side by side as the morning sun shined upon them, their black cloaks waving in the cool breeze, and the red clouds appearing eternal and real. Both seemed reserved, as if there was a tension in the air. Itachi, I am going to kill you for that comment on my art. Yeah. You can try, you con artist. Their whispered conversation was so quiet no one without applying chakra to their ears could hear it, but it was there. You know I always hated you, yeah. Likewise, partner. I can't believe I have been paired with a girly man like you, yeah. They needed us both for specific missions. You see, you're the cannon fodder fool who attracts the attention of everyone, and I get the job done. Good teamwork, no? Deidara suddenly stopped moving. Itachi stopped a few steps forward and turned back to Deidara. They stared at each other in a strange silence, their eyes locked on each other. After what seemed to be hours, Itachi broke the lull by turning back and continuing to walk. Okay, I apologize. Thank you, yeah? The cavern was silent. A smallest pin drop could be heard as two figures sat away from each other, each doing their own activity. Yakina stared at the blonde man in a mixture of curiosity, hatred, and anxiety. She always hated him, that was a given. She was born, destined for greatest, and raised with the mindset she would be the new unrivaled superpower in the shinobi. It was only when this man joined the game did she truly feel like nothing. Her existence and pain and sacrifice was all made to be second on the ninja food chain. Yakina cocked her head to the side, still studying Naruto, who at the moment had his eyes closed, a shroud of dark chakra layering his form. A look of concentration marred him, a look she had seen many of times. It was his normal facial expression. As she pondered so much about her arch-enemy, curiosity got the better than her. Deciding to break the tension between them, Yakina coughed into her hand. So what are you doing? Yakina immediately bit back in disgust. She never was timid. What was she doing? Naruto seemed to notice the change in Yukina's tone and cracked one eye open. What are you trying to accomplish, Princess of Iwa? Yukina's bout and self-hatred turned outward as she blushed in embarrassment. I was just curious. That chakra is demonic by the feel it has on me. Is it Kyuubi's? Naruto's face changed to a frown before returning to an icy setting. If you believe you can weave information to pass on to Iwa, you can cease now, fool girl. I will not dig my own grave. Yukina's face reddened in anger, bristling at his retort. Excuse me? All I wanted to do was ask, what were you doing? I was just curious. Am I supposed to believe such nonsense? Yakina recoiled, exasperated. It's the truth. I was just trying to talk to you. I mean, I'm sorry I'm not a mechanical freak like you. That is why you are so weak. Yakina hopped to her feet, ignoring her soreness and unhealed injuries. Marching to Naruto's motionless figure, she bent over, her face inches from his. She took the moment to study him. His calm demeanor, a rugged feral face, yet an expression of peace, no, not peace. Her eyes widened as she stared into his cold eyes, a storm, a maelstrom ready to emerge. A fake calm, like one seen in the sea before a tsunami. Danger, she snarled and gripped the scruff of his shirt. Listen, you freak. I'm not scared of you. I never was. I never will be. Your looks won't frighten me. You can go ack. Yakina coughed blood as she fell back, clutching her ribs. Naruto perked up before locking on to her wound. It seems I missed healing a broken rib. Overexertion is not recommended, Haim. Yakina immediately looked back at Naruto, a look of shock and pain on her face as she gauged the blonde-haired man's placid look. Why, you bastard? You did that on purpose to debilitate me. I did. I am not so foolish as to allow an extremely powerful, however petulant Kunoichi heal to full health just so she can challenge me again. Yakina smiled as she heard Naruto's description of her. You know, I think I should take this as a compliment. You're scared, aren't you? Ha! She took pained breaths before smiling at a now glaring Naruto. You are very fortunate I am a man of patience, Abinaga. Perhaps, but you are also a man of cowardice. Yakina soon regretted her words as a cold feeling filled the cavern. An aura of malice coated the area. She looked down, almost imitating a small child before an angry parent. Looking up slowly, she saw him. His eyes had such a look of pain, a look of betrayal, a look of anguish. Emotions ran through his cracked eyes, none more than pure hatred, and for an instant Yakina questioned whether she would die. But as soon as it happened, the cold left, and the aura of malice was gone. If I may suggest something, Miss Abinaga. Naruto's regular blank look etched on his face as he turned to walk away to the shadows of the cavern. Choose your words wisely, for you know nothing. Naruto continued to walk further away from the main cavern where Yakina was. As he explored the caverns, his mind raced as Yukina's word reverberated in his head. Foolish, so foolish. You know nothing. Nothing. No one does. Still, why am I so angry? Naruto's teeth all grew to sharp blades, his eyes glowing in hate and malice. He grabbed his head with one hand, halting himself. Soon sitting down, he embraced the darkness and closed his eyes, enjoying the peace it offered. It seems your transformation has left you more human than ever, hee hee ha ha ha. What irony. Fuck off. Naruto shouted, anger spiking as he glared at his tenant. You're saying the transformation to demon has given me emotions? Preposterous. Ha, not every emotion. Your transformation sparked a growth in hormones. Your emotions as a demon revolve around anger, lust, hatred, and perhaps another, but that is irrelevant. Your new hormones are supercharging the emotions you have, which are now demon emotions. In short, you will be hard-pressed to keep that cool demeanor of yours, partner. Naruto processed everything, his eyes widening. He did not predict this. This could be a problem. When will it go away? You need a median to keep you balanced. Someone who can handle you. In essence, you are acting like a young demon ready to mate. Only a mate can bring a new emotion which can balance you. Any other avenue has to come from relieving your negative energy through exercise. Destruction, you mean? Kyubi nodded before grinning. Yes, and so welcome to being a monster. I am not a new member. Yukina's POV. As Naruto walked into the darkness of the massive maze of a cavern, Yukina stared at his retreating figure, eyes widened at the display. To think I actually caused that reaction from him of all people. Yukina stopped her train of thought, realizing a small part of her was in fact scared of Naruto. She shivered and returned to the wall of the cavern, resting her head against the limestone. Perhaps I should try act less hostile with him. Even though he told me he won't harm me, I think I'm pushing the envelope. Hopping to her feet, she set out to find him. Danzo studied the haggard form of Yugogo Yuzuki. She was the ANBU vice captain for Sarutobi and the mother figure of Naruto, a woman who, even though declined route, sympathized with it. After what seemed like hours, Danzo turned around, walking away. Come, we have much work to do. The sound of footsteps resonated around the cavern as Yukina continued her trek to find Naruto. As she explored, she couldn't help but feel like a mouse in a maze, stuck in a catacomb with the most unsociable bastard this world has ever raised. Chuckling, she evaluated why was she even trying to find him. Realizing she had no answer, she stopped walking. For the life of her, she couldn't find answer. Well, she was curious. She wanted to know more about him. So long she had pinned him as a mindless killer, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Stopping again, she looked around and realized she had blanked out and didn't know a way back. Perfect. She sat down and closed her eyes as she sorted her feelings. No matter how much she hated him, he still intrigued her. The feeling that she truly did not know all that there was about him. Well, father always told me to know everything about my enemy. She chuckled again before realizing her father probably thinks she's dead. I will come back to you, father. Please pull through. Her thoughts were interrupted as she heard a faint sound. Trying to pinpoint the sound, she was disappointed to find the walls of the cavern echoing the noise, making it impossible to distinguish an exact location. Signing in defeat, she readied herself to try and find a way back when a second noise resounded. Turning fully, she approached where she figured the sound to be with as much stealth as possible. Peering around the new stone room, she found her quarry sitting upright, his eyes closed and body against the wall. Smiling in victory of her discovery, Yukina started to trek to the blonde when all of a sudden a blast of energy halted her movement. There before her was Naruto. He was covered in a dark aura and his chakra was everywhere. Tentacles of chakra, seemingly sentient, pulsed around her, feeling her. It was as if the blonde had grown octopus legs and sent them in all directions. What do you want? Naruto's voice was as icy as ever. Yukina swallowed before edging closer to the blonde killer, her heart racing, not in fear, but something else she didn't understand. Namikaze, I wanted to apologize. What I said was out of line and I'm sorry. Yukina's eyes widened as she wondered what Naruto's reaction would be. Said blonde cocked his to the right, like a confused child before righting himself. With narrowed eyes he stood on his 2 feet and approached the Abunaga. What is the meaning of this? Yukina was taken aback. She was trying to apologize to a monster that clearly any insult isn't enough, and yet here the blonde was asking her for another stupid motive. Are you kidding me? Are you truly so suspicious that you even question apologies? Yukina glared hard into Naruto's ruby eyes. The fire they had made was away from this cavern, so lighting was almost non-existent, making the room hue in a maroon color. Even with such a color, Yukina still saw his eyes, his blood-red orb staring deep in her, as if trying to find her soul. You are my enemy, or have you forgotten that? Becoming even remotely cordial with you can result in an extraction of information. Such information can prove pivotal in my weakness or an extension Konoha's weakness. Of course I am suspicious, fool. Yukina suddenly turned cherry red. You asshole. How dare you speak to me like that? Oh, you mean call you a fool? Perhaps you should go cry about it. I have no time for such petulance. You know what, fuck you! I tried, I really did, but you are as cold as your blade, Naruto. Namikaze. Naruto watched as Yukina walked out of the cavern room. Sensing her chakra to be far away, he slumped against the wall before pulling forward and coughing a torrent of blood. As he continued to pant his hands and floor with his blood, unbeknownst to Naruto, Yukina was watching him. She wanted to return to yell at him for another issue, but as she returned she witnessed this, and immediately hid to see. Can it be he's ill? She took a step forward before widening her eyes and backing away. Are you serious? Why did I think of helping him? He's my hated enemy. My eternal rival. Naruto slammed his hand into the rock wall as another torrent of blood escaped his hoarse throat. Yukina dipped her head down. You look so pathetic. This is not how you're supposed to be. She whispered. Yukina shook her head before settling her gaze on Naruto. This is my only chance. He is weak. Her gaze turned deadly. If so, perhaps I should take advantage of this. Yukina took a moment to consider it before shaking her head again. No, if the Shinigami of Konoha was going to die, then it would be by her hand in a fair battle, she said before revealing herself. Slowly the IWA Nin approached the coughing Naruto. As soon as Naruto registered another presence to be in the cavern, he reacted. Quicker than light, his hand reached for Yukina's vulnerable throat. He grabbed her and slammed her against the wall, his feral eyes bearing down on her own orbs. Again Yukina felt like Naruto was somehow judging her now. Suddenly he spoke, but it was in a distorted voice as if two people were talking at the same time. You have courage, Abunaga, to approach a demon. Stealing her resolve, she looked up at Naruto. Yes, and a wounded one at that. At that moment Naruto's eyes widened before he jerked his hand away from Yukina's neck. Akarkusa, Naruto fell to his knees, this sudden pain now too unbearable to remain standing. What is happening to you? Yukina's question was met with a strangled roar as Naruto fell to his knees, his breaths labored. Without thinking, Yukina sprang into action. As she tried to make him lie down, though, she was met with a tough resistance. Stop it. I need to help you. Shut up and lie on your back. Naruto glanced at Yukina lazily, his eyes combing her body searching for a motive. He nodded and did as he was told. Soon Yukina started to give a checkup to the blonde. There it is. Yukina's hands paused on Naruto's stomach before realizing what it is. It seems the Kyuubi's chakra is constantly battling your newly acquired power, but so far the Kyuubi's chakra is dominating the battle, Yukina explained as her hands glowed a brighter blue. By transferring my chakra to him, I may actually balance his chakra network temporarily. Yukina's hands grew royal blue with chakra. Placing her hands on Naruto's seal, she pressed on and started a transfer. Naruto's erratic movement soon slowed in place of the steady beat of his heart. He paced it out, it seems. Laying next to the wall, suddenly feeling exhausted, she slipped away with one mindset. I am so going to regret this. What if Naruto declares war on Konoha? And thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoy this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel, and leave a like if you guys need the next part. Comment down, and thanks for watching the video, and see you guys in the next video.